Suddenly soundtracks are here to provide you. Suddenly soundtracks will show you care. Oh, be more the soundtrack inside you with sweet understanding. Oh, with sweet understanding. With sweet understanding. Soundtracks are your friend.
Hey guys, welcome to Suddenly Soundtracks, the show where we judge a movie solely based on the soundtrack that it provides. When I'm going through a soundtrack today, we're doing a playlist. How you guys all doing? We are going to be going through our favorite songs of all time. Probably one of the most hardest playlists we've ever had.
No fucking shit.
It took me an hour. It took me an hour to decide this.
Yeah.
Just an hour?
Just an hour.
It must be nice, Max.
I actually didn't have a hard time at all, but
Took me a month.
Yeah, this was really great. This is the new season of Suddenly Soundtracks, new logo, new feel, new vibe. Same vibe, just a lot of purple like usual, actually.
So exactly the same as it was before.
Yeah, purple was my favorite color. Anyway, I'm here with a
Same as it ever was.
Same
as it ever was.
Same as it ever was. And I think, for the most part, a lot of returning people from Sing Street. We have PJ, we have Maxwell, we have Jen, we have Tim Franco, and our special guest once again is Max Bartos. I'm going to be referring to Max Bartos as Max and Maxwell as Maxwell.
You say that now, but we'll lose it.
Before we get into this, guys, I'm just going to throw it over to PJ. PJ, how hard was it to make this list?
I still hate you. All day, all of my tweets have been how much I hate you. I told people to come here so I could yell at you for how much I hate you. This was not easy at all. Mike K was like, it would have been easier to do 10 albums. I agree with you, but Chris is a fucking evil person and decided to put this upon us. It took me way too long, and even after the fact, like, I keep finding songs that should have been on here. So, yeah. Chris, fuck you.
Maxwell, do you have the similar...
I mean, look, it was a difficult task, but at the end of the day, you know, it's just representative of my feelings now. It's no slight on the other songs that didn't make the list, and I know we'll probably do this again and get to talk about other songs. So once I was able to get over that mental hurdle and be like, I'm just going to pick 10 songs I love and pick a random order, it was like, we're just here to celebrate great music, so that wasn't too bad.
What a nice outlook. I'm so jealous.
What an optimistic
I'm entering 2021 with positivity and optimism.
Yeah, and this is
I'm trying.
This is the complete opposite of a Survivor Island. Jen, I know this was very easy for you to make. You told us all that. How easy was this list for you?
Yeah, this was no trouble at all going through every single song ever known to mankind and deciding to only pick 10. Like, honestly, like, I already had like a nervous breakdown over our Beatles list, so just doing that alone was hard, and they only have maybe 200 songs. So yeah, it was a little tricky. So because there were absolutely no parameters in place, I placed my own on myself. So we'll talk about it when we get to my list.
Yep. Tim, how hard was it for you? You said it was easy.
It was easy. It wasn't hard because I just kind of look at it like Maxwell said, like, it's in the moment. It's like, it's not a static list for me. The thing can change at any moment. I would say there's only probably like 5 songs on my list that are like 100%, 4 to 5 that would 100% always be on my top 10, and then the other 6 to 5 can kind of rotate probably in my top 20, 25, and then there's stuff within there that would come into the top 10. So if I like left something out, I didn't really freak out because I was like, well, I mean, on any other given day, that song could easily pop into a top 10 list, a top 10 for me. So, and I know we're going to be talking about stuff maybe in the future, you know, more favorite songs. So those can all come. Those can come up then, you know. So yeah.
So Chris, can you confirm or deny that Refism said?
I mean, he is
This
known
is
for doing Mario
it
Party,
is-
so there's vengeance in him. So
I am a vengeful person. Max Bartos. Max. So how hard or easy was this for you? List for you to make?
So I'm somebody that derives a lot of joy from music, as I'm sure all of you are as well. So this was a pain in the ass to make because so literally it was me, my mom, my dad, and my girlfriend. We were all sitting on the couch upstairs, and it was like, I know I said an hour, but it was like at least 4 hours of me just being like, okay, which My Chem song should I choose? Which one? Okay, we decided on this one. Now we're gonna go to the next one. It looked like the Pepe Sylvia meme from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's what it looks like on my notes. On my phone. I don't have it right here. It's much more of this, and I mean, I feel comfortable with my list. I mean, much like Tim, there are about 5 or 6 songs on there that are, etched in stone that like those are my picks for that. But then, there are songs where I'll hear and I'll be like, oh, I forgot about that song. I really like that song. Like, why haven't I listened to that recently? So, yeah, I mean, it was interesting.
It was indeed. So, guys, this is added to playlist. This is honestly for a very simple show as Suddenly Soundtracks, where you go through a song track by track. This is even simpler. We're going through the playlist 3 at a time, and then we're going to do our number ones at the end. It's super standard, self-explanatory, and it's going to be fun. So I'm going to change the layout, share the game board, and we're going to hit the row and hit the hay with this. And I'm going to start with you, PJ. What are your 3 first songs for your playlist, bud?
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just drag them up there. So kind of to what the others were saying, it was kind of like an in-the-moment sort of thing, but there's a couple that were always going to make this list, and the very first one was, by the way, by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I fucking love this song. I love the Chili Peppers, but this album specifically was like a very big deal because it was when they really started to change their sound and become the band that people know now, and that single was originally one that they didn't want to put out right away, but their producers were like, no, you should do it. I think it's going to go big. And it did. It ended up being one of their biggest songs. And I love this song very, very much. My number 9 is Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones, which is just, dude, it's the Stones. I think the song has been covered by so many different bands, different artists. Ozzy Osbourne did a great version of this. When I wanted to be a Schmoedown player, it was the song I wanted to come out to, but it's a song that just hits me every single time I listen to it. I just think it's got such a unique sound, and the story it's telling is fascinating, to say the least. It's literally a song about the devil and the things that the devil did throughout our history, and I kind of love it for that. And then, of course, Coheed and Cambria was always going to be on my list. This is Three Evils Embodied in Love and Shadow. This is a song. It's not their best song, but it's the one that means the most to me. It's off of my favorite album, which is In Keeping Secrets of Silent Air 3. It's my favorite album of all time. And this song, especially when you're a teenager, just hits all the right emotions of being like something kind of dark, something kind of mysterious, and you can just get sucked in it and you get lost in it. And Chris was telling me earlier, like the chorus gets stuck in your head very, very easily.
Very easy.
But it also, to me, it shows the strength of them doing their concept albums, but also they could still do songs that stood out on their own too. So I always appreciated it for that.
Yeah, I really love "Sympathy for the Devil" by the Stones. It's a classic. I love the tribal drum beats. By the way, it's a really rock and pepper song. But I wanted to say, yeah, the Coheed song, the trigger when the name is, that got stuck in my head the entire morning when I was listening to it. It's very, very catchy, and the energy is great. I want to listen to more of Coheed and Cambria. I'm not really too familiar.
Yes,
with their
yes,
life,
you do.
But I do want to explore it more. Max, what are your Max Bartos? Max, what are your thoughts on these 3 songs?
Yeah, I mean, I love Coheed and Cambria. The first song that I ever listened to by them was Choose My Favorite One, which is that one I love. I think that one is amazing. I mean, yeah, I think it's all 3 of your songs that you chose have the catchiest hooks ever.
Yeah.
So it was so hard. I was just like literally walking around my house, just like singing the hooks, and my mom and my dad were like, "Why are you singing Sympathy for the Devil?" And I was like, "Oh,
perfect."
It's some but oh, sorry, I think I have like a glare or something. Time to use my flannel on my camera. I think it's From My Light, so we'll just make do. And yeah, I mean, by the way, there was a funny story I heard. I forget which one of my friend's moms saw the Chili Peppers live, but she said that she was like sitting by the front, by like the center aisle, and they all walked by, and the first thing she thought was, "Wow, they're all a lot shorter than I thought they would be."
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, as soon as I heard that, I immediately thought of that story, and I was like, I just think of Flea just like bopping around the stage, like.
Apparently, Max, you were singing all the songs quite beautifully, for what it's worth.
Oh, thanks, Dad. Yeah.
Oh.
He's upstairs right now. Like,
Look out, Mick Jagger.
Hey, if he has something to say, he can come down and let us know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure he would love that. He might even bring our little foster kitten with him. Who's literally, well, not our foster kitten anymore. We adopted him. So,
Aww.
yeah, I love him. So,
Maxwell, what are your thoughts on these three songs?
Yeah, I mean, we're off to a great start here immediately. I'm a big Chili Peppers fan. I've seen them live a bunch of times. And this song is just super catchy. It's a great song to sing along to. Probably wouldn't be my pick for their best song or my favorite song of there, but it's a super respectable pick. It has such a great hook. Sympathy for the Devil is a classic. For some reason, it always makes me think of the TV show House.
Yeah, I could see that.
I don't know why, but I don't remember exactly what context, but it was used in a scene, and I was like, well, this fits perfectly. And then, I love Coheed a lot, not as much as PJ, but I do love him a lot. I was sort of surprised by this pick, because like he said, it's not their best song, but I get the personal connection. I mean, for me, this In Keeping Secrets is their best album, but the title song is the masterpiece of the album.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm
100%.
sort of surprised you didn't go that route, but I feel like you could pick like a revolving door of any Coheed song, and that would be fine. But yeah, the great band, super experimental. Claudio's voice is out of control. So.
The best.
Tim.
Yeah, these are all great picks. By the way, it's a great song. I love the. With any Chili Pepper song, you gotta love all the highlights that they put on the bass with Flea playing. So it's got some great bass notes with Flea. And Anthony Kiedis kills the vocals as always. Sympathy for the Devil is an incredible song. It would be in my top 50 songs, I would say, probably my top 30. It's my second favorite Stones song, but it's very close to being my first favorite Stones song. It's just so good. And then Coheed, I'm not a giant Coheed fan. I have to kind of take them in with in small doses, just because I appreciate his voice, but I'm not the biggest fan of his voice in terms of Claudio.
We're gonna fight later.
But I do love all their instrumentals are incredible and all their songs. So if I could
14 minutes in and Tim is already causing chaos.
I said I like the song. I do like the song. It's just I couldn't listen. I don't think I can listen to a whole album of Coheed myself personally. But if it was instrumentals, their instrumentals are great. Their guitar is incredible, and yeah. So, but I do like the song, and it fits for PJ for sure.
Jen.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of By the Way. Like Tim said, it's a killer bass line in this song. And yeah, I always love the stream of consciousness kind of lyrics to this one. It almost feels like you're trying to activate the Winter Soldier with just steak knife, card shark, and everything. Sympathy for the Devil, it's been used a lot in a lot of movies, and it always works. I probably would not have picked this particular song for my list, but just spoiler alert, there will be no Rolling Stones on my list, and I already feel really bad about it. But I do absolutely love this song, and it's fantastic. A lot of really interesting lyrics in there. For the Coheed song, I was a little didn't expect this pick. I know there was going to be one from PJ, but I didn't expect this one. It is a great song musically. It's really intricate. However, lyrically, if you're not familiar with the background work of the comics and everything, it's a little vague. So it's not exactly their most accessible song for just coming into listening to a playlist, but it is definitely catchy as hell. So yeah, I have a lot of respect for all three picks.
Oh, that's amazing. Max Bartos. Max, I'm going to ask you for your three picks, for your bottom three, well, your first three.
Absolutely. Let me put it there, and then put that one there, and then that one there. And I actually have a guest of honor. My dad decided to join us.
Oh.
Here he is.
I'm not the guest of honor.
And he brought the
Oh,
Hey, Mr.
Aw.
Bartos.
Hey, Mr. Bartos.
this is Hemingway.
Oh,
He's
Aw.
look
very,
at him.
he's very cute. I'm gonna have to embarrass my dad a little bit and talk about the first song while he's down here. So I chose "Bad" by U2. U2 is one of my favorite bands of all time. It's actually my dad's favorite band, and we went to go see him in concert at Lincoln Financial Field on the new Joshua Tree tour, which was fucking killer.
Mhm.
So the memory I have associated with this song is we were at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Ohio, and I was looking around the like exhibit and trying to find anything related to Queen, and I come back and I see my dad on his knees on the ground sobbing in front of the U2 exhibit with all like he was like I came up to him and I was like, are you okay? He was like, look, it's Bono's hat. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, do you like need to like go somewhere? Like, are you good? he's laughing.
You would never
Oh, I have the video saved on my phone. So I'll just unveil the next two. So the next one is Totale Finsternis, which is kind of an odd pick, but over quarantine, I have fallen in love with the show Tans de Vampire because I am an avid Jim Steinman fan. So hearing all of like the melodies and stuff from like all the songs that I know was just really cool. And the storyline is just so over the top. I love it. But the fact that it's literally just Total Eclipse of the Heart, but with different lyrics and in German. Yeah. So, I mean, I listen to it like I always say to my mom, I'm like, I am unironically listening to Dance of the Vampires right now. And I love it. And I basically force my family to watch it at least once a week. I find different productions of it on YouTube, and I'm like, okay, rate the Count von Krolocks. How are they doing? Like I found all these like comparison videos on YouTube of like how the different guys sing the different notes, and like I actually started learning German today because I was like, I want to be able to watch it and understand it without having to use subtitles. So I love that song. It's so amazing. And I just learned how to play the overture on piano, which is really fun.
This is the night overture, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's called The Storm, but yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It sounds so cool. And then my bottom of the top 10 is Why by from Tick Tick Boom. And this show is very near and dear to my heart. I love Jonathan Larson, and I was actually in this show at Stage Door Manor, which is like a theater summer camp in Loch Sheldrake, and I went there for 2 years, and I love it so much. And I actually found out there at camp that I booked Sing Street, but we weren't allowed to have our phones there for the first week of camp. And that's when I found out. So they announced over the loudspeakers all around camp, Max Bartos, please come to the main office. And my biggest fear in the fucking world is getting in trouble. So I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know what I did, but I'm going to start apologizing anyways. And my mom was just on the phone and was like, you booked Sing Street. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, and then I was more relieved that I didn't get in trouble. And then 5 minutes later, I was like, wait, what? So, but oh yeah, that Street Has No Name, U2 is the kill. It is. I'm looking at the comments, but yeah, Street Has No Name is a really good song too. But Why is just the most like heartbreaking song I've ever heard because I played Michael, which the song is sort of sung about him. And I was in the show with Alex Wind, who started he was one of the survivors of the Parkland shooting who started March for Our Lives. And it was just a total honor playing that role with him. And it was just so incredible. But yeah, those are my three. Yeah. So yeah.
It is amazing. It makes me actually want to listen to the rest of the show because I might want to do that for Suddenly Soundtracks down the line. Talifant's the Tan song. This song is super interesting because, as you said, this whole musical was written by Jim Steinman before Bad Out of Hell the musical was a thing.
Yeah.
This song in particular is a mix between Seize the Night, Total Eclipse, and at the end is a little bit of Original Sin from Welcome to the Neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
It's phenomenal. And obviously you can't go wrong with Bad. Bono's voice is always perfection. Anytime he sings, it's just music to my ears. PJ, what are your thoughts on these three songs?
I mean, look, Tick Tick Boom is such a great show. I was glad to see some representation from that. Strictly speaking, the Jim Steinman one was very interesting. I don't speak German. I liked the song. It sounded great. That it had that going for it, and I've always liked U2. There's never, in my opinion, there's not really a bad U2 song, which was the irony of Bad being on here. So I really like this song, man. It's a great choice. I've always wanted to see them live, so I'm very jealous that you got to.
Oh, it was insane. Yeah, it was so cool. Because my dad saw the tour originally, so it was back in like the 80s. So
and their staging for the Joshua Tree tour is phenomenal. Yeah, that stage is huge. Tim, what are your thoughts on these three songs, bud?
I wasn't familiar with Why or Totally Finsterness. Why was beautiful, and I really enjoyed it. I want to like go and listen to more from that show. I'm gonna go to Bad. Bad is a great song, early U2, so much respect there. Also, gotta love any song where it's about someone's demons like drug abuse. So gotta appreciate that and the deep meaning behind it. Now, Totally Finsterness. I fell in love with this fucking song.
Thank you.
I thought seeing the Dan Band live sing "Total Eclipse of the Heart" was like the eclipse of pardon the pun, but the eclipse of that song. But no, this version of that song is so good. I love it so much, and I don't speak German whatsoever. But I don't know. I get the weirdness of it, and that just vibes with me, and I love it. I thought it was like. Yes. I thought it was incredible. I feel like when I listen to it, I'm like hiding in a cave and like singing to like some
like a normal day.
Like some woman that like I feel
so
like
you're the Phantom of the Opera.
I feel like I'm a vampire. I feel like I'm a vampire, and I feel it. Yeah.
I literally was joking around with my mom, and I was like, when I listen to the show, I literally feel like Phantom of the Opera.
I kind of want to walk around like this, like.
Yeah.
I wish the American version lasted longer on Broadway. I really do.
Yeah, I mean it was so rewritten.
Yeah, it was. I didn't
know this was a thing. I've seen the movie it's based off because it's directed by a certain unmentionable. But I've seen the movie back in the day.
Yeah, I would love to see them like revamp it, so to speak. Jen, what are your thoughts on these three?
These are fantastic picks. I was aware of Tick Tick Boom, but I try not to like listen to the music unless I actually go and see the show live. So I hadn't actually listened to any of the music. I assumed it was good because I love Rent and everything, and Jonathan Larson is amazing. But I love this song, and it was just so cute that I was like, oh, I know that Max picked this and everything because it just speaks to like the performing arts heart of so many people, and it's just a beautiful story. So I can't wait to see the Netflix adaptation and everything coming up soon. So yeah, that's a fantastic pick. I came this close to having Totally Eclipse of the Heart actually on my list. So I absolutely love that song. It is a perfect pop song. And so I started listening to this. I did not know what it was. And I was like, oh, that kind of sounds like it totally is. And I was like, oh, musical. I got so excited as someone who like loves the Forgetting Sarah Marshall Dracula musical and wants that to be a real thing on Broadway. I was like, oh my God, there's already one out there that I need to go watch now. So that's going to be a thing. But yeah, so I absolutely love that. And I didn't know that like he like, what's his name? Steinman, or he wrote both. And I saw an interview and he was like, yeah, well, I already intended it, the original version. I always just thought of it as a vampire song. And I started thinking, I was like, yeah, that's kind of true. So like, it makes it even better for me now. So thank you for introducing me to that. And Bad is just, I love this pick because it's a little off the map. So this song does not get a lot of radio play. The first time I actually heard it was at a live concert, and I literally got chills because like it's just one of those like haunting vocals from Bono when he hits the "I'm wide awake." Like, oh, it just chills every time. I absolutely love that song. So fantastic pick. Next.
Maxwell, I'm going to throw it to you. I actually have a question. Maxwell, did you ever see Dance when it was on Broadway, the American version, or no?
I did not. And I also want to say I made the conscious choice not to include any musical theater songs because that would have just made it far more difficult. But
I did too.
respect to Max for doing it. So Tick Tick Boom, I listened to this album nonstop in high school. I think it came out in like 2001, 2002. And then I was lucky enough to see the Encores production with Lin-Manuel and Leslie Odom Jr. and Karen Olivo doing it, which was awesome. And so now the fact that Lin, who had performed in the show, is directing the film is really exciting. I think Raul Esparza has one of the great tenor voices of our time. His vibrato is insane. And this is such a great song and a great vocal performance. I had listened to the Dance of the Vampires American album before, and then when I saw that it was included in German, it sort of took me for a trip. It's like so dark and fun and kind of weirdly sexy. And then U2 is interesting because for most of my life, I sort of was at best indifferent to U2. And then in the summer of 2018, I was really bored one day and was just looking online and somehow ended up on Ticketmaster. And I was like, oh, U2 is playing at the Garden tonight. And I bought myself a ticket and went by myself. And I was kind of blown away by, Bono's showmanship, by the production value of the tour, how fun the songs are. I wasn't that familiar with Bad because, like other people mentioned, it's one of their like less popular and older tracks, but it's a really good song. And as time has gone on since 2018, I've become more and more into U2. So 3 solid out of the box picks. And I like that we're only 2 lists in and we're just getting such an eclectic, bizarre grouping of songs that are certainly reflective.
What a bunch of weirdos we are, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. A bunch of weirdos.
Yes, Mike, I definitely did that. I don't know about anyone else.
I did too.
Before I throw it to Tim, did I not throw? I'm human. Did I not throw it to anybody before I throw it to Tim for his 3? I think I got everybody. Tim,
You got us.
Tim, what are your 3 picks, bud?
Okay. Let's see here. Let's throw them out here. Yeah, for my list, I also did 1 artist per list, and I also, spoilers for my list, I did not include any Beatles tracks because we did a Beatles ranking. Definitely a Beatles song would make its way on my list, though, if I had included it. Anyways, my number 10, I have Sleepwalk by Santo and Johnny. Number 9, I have The Wind Cries Mary by Jimi Hendrix. And at number 8, I have It's Too Late to Turn Back Now by Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose. So, Sleepwalk, I've loved this song ever since I saw La Bamba, the movie, as a kid. And that's always like where my head goes when I hear this song. I think of his brother on the bridge just screaming Richie, because this is the song that plays whenever they're listening to like the radio broadcast that Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper died. Incidentally, this song did come out the same year that the music died, which was in 1959. But anyways, it's just I had to have an instrumental track on my list. I love instrumental music, and so I had to have an instrumental track. It was between this and Walk Don't Run by the Ventures. But this is the one that made it. I just think the guitar is incredible. You got the steel guitar, which is beautiful, and yeah, it's just a great song. The Wind Cries Mary. I mean, I got to have a Jimi Hendrix in here because Jimi Hendrix is one of the best guitarists of all time. Might be the best guitarist of all time. And this song is my favorite Hendrix track. I just think it's a beautiful song. I don't think it's his best like guitar solo in a song, but I do think this is my favorite just overall like guitar playing throughout a song, just because the guitar just hits in like such a strange but amazing way. Like the sounds that he was able to get out of that guitar in 67 it's incredible. And then It's Too Late to Turn Back Now is just a really great love song. It's an R&B soul song from the 70s. I love it. I discovered it a long time ago, and then I was super happy in Black Klansman when this song made an appearance in Black Klansman, when he first meets the girl in that movie. They're at a club and this song's playing, they're dancing to it, and they start singing it. And this song it's just a really great song to sing along to, and I think it's just incredible. I love Motown. I wouldn't classify this as Motown because it didn't come from the Motown like core group, but it is very similar, and it's R&B soul, which a lot of Motown was very reminiscent of that. So But yeah, I love all three of these songs.
Yeah, Too Late to Turn Back Now is really, really an uplifting. I even have in my notes, it's basically Motown at its finest.
Yeah.
And I believe it's just the chorus is so catchy. Hendrix, his guitar, it's weird that you can hear the emotion in every chord that he plays. In any song that you hear from Hendrix, especially in Cries Mary, it's just breathtaking. And the Sleepwalk, yeah, I knew I recognized it from La Bamba. It's that kind of, ever since then, it's kind of that kind of like standard, like 50s. If you have a 50s prom in your film, you hear this in the background while people are slow dancing, and I dig it. I really, really do. Max Bartos, Max, what are your thoughts on these three songs?
Yeah, so Sleepwalk definitely reminded me of like the prom scene in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Right when I know it's Earth Angel in the movie. Back to the Future,
Angel, yeah.
one of my favorite movies of all time. I remember all I wanted to do was play the Johnny B. Good solo that Marty plays.
Who did
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, The Wind Cries Mary. Hendrix was, I always say he was the most amazing guitar player and he was so young. He was so young, which is crazy. Actually, a funny story. So one of the cast members in Sing Street, Gian, loved Hendrix, and all he wanted to do was find this the yellow shirt for that album. And one day he found it, and he was so happy. I think he found it. I don't remember exactly, but I remember he found it somewhere. And he was the one that really started me listening to Hendrix. And yeah, he's absolutely, like, there's no words. There really are no words. And Too Late to Turn Back Now. Yeah. Black Klansman, I immediately thought of. I love that movie so much. I think that it's very, when I heard it, like, I'm just not very, I don't listen to that genre a lot. So for me, I'm like, when I think of that kind of music, I'm like, oh yeah, like sort of like the Jackson 5 and like that kind of stuff. So that's sort of like what I was thinking, but I really liked it. And it definitely made me want to start, like, I was dipping my toe into the genre before, but now I'm like ready to actually take the swim. So yeah, it was awesome.
I got a whole playlist of like soul R&B I can send you if you want, if you're interested.
He does.
Yes, please do. Please do.
He has a great eclectic playlist. They're great. PJ.
So many great choices. Sleepwalk is like one of those songs that I do kind of go back to like the 50s. The moment you hear it, it just sounds like that, and you want to like walk along a pier at night listening to the song as like the waves hit the side of the ocean. I don't know, it's something very just dreamy and romantic about it that has always stuck out to me, and I'm a sucker for anything instrumental, so I was glad that this was on here. The Wind Cries Mary is such a great Hendrix choice. I had scrapped having Hendrix on my list, spoiler alert, so I was glad to see that he had any representation on here at all, because this is one of his best songs. It wasn't my choice, but I love this song a lot, so I was glad it made the list. And then Too Late to Turn Back Now. I'm never going to not think of Black Klansman now, because the last time the world was like actually a decent place when Tim and I would hang out, we got in his car and he was like, listen to this song. What movie is this from? And that's all I can think of now is the conversation of me going in the back of my head trying to remember what movie I'd heard it from. But I love this song. It's got that old Motown feel. It's not a Motown song, but it's got that feel. And I love it for that. And again, it's very romantic, and it's so catchy, and it works. I love this song. Three very great choices, Tim.
Maxwell, what do you think?
Maxwell, you're muted.
I'm muted, Max.
So I'm going to pull back the curtain on our process a little bit. So in order to properly research and be able to talk intelligently about all the songs, we're sent the playlist ahead of time, but we are not told who picked what song. So first of all, it's a fun game to try and guess who picked what songs. And second of all, it's just, it helps us to be able to listen to the song. So I've gotten to know Tim pretty well over the last like 6 to 8 months. And out of everyone's list, once I sort of used my deductive reasoning and pieced together who I thought had picked each list, Tim's is the one that surprised me the most, because I expected, for better or worse, 8 to 10 punk songs.
I have a very wide range of
No, and I think that's great, and it was like delightfully surprising. And all three of these songs are so uniquely beautiful in their own way. Sleepwalk is a song I've heard so many times, and I'm not sure I ever before this exercise like recognize the name or the artist. It was just something that was sort of always part of my consciousness, and it's such a hypnotic, beautiful song. It immediately transports you to the 50s. I can't really add anything more about Jimi Hendrix, and everyone else has already said it's a great track, and he is, top 5 guitarist of all time, if not the best. And what was so great about him, like Chris said, was not just his technical proficiency, but you could feel the notes. You could feel the emotion or the anger, whatever it is, of what he was playing through the notes. Like even his Star Spangled Banner, you feel that. And then Too Late to Turn Back Now, it's a great classic R&B song. I agree. It also made me think of Black Klansman, but it's also used in Ang Lee's The Ice Storm, which is another terrific movie. So just great song picks. That was a delightful surprise to once I was like, oh shit, Tim is layered. He's like an onion.
And now suddenly it's Shrek. Congratulations.
What are you doing, in my swamp?
So, Jen, interesting situation here. Let me know your thoughts on these 3 songs, and then let me know your 3.
Rolling. Yeah.
Go for it.
But similar to what Maxwell said, I was surprised when I first heard these because I wasn't really listening in order at the time. I had it on shuffle, and I was like, I wonder who picked this. And then when I deduced it, I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, Sleepwalk, I have so much respect for someone actually putting an instrumental on because I really wanted to, and I held back, and I was like, oh, I'll wait until we get further down the line to do that. So I absolutely love this song. Everybody's mentioned the 50s feel. I'm a huge fan of Better Call Saul, and they use it, I think, in one of the best situations I've seen. I'm not going to spoil the scene, but it's fantastic. And yeah, this song was actually like, it's one of those dream songs of the person who wrote it, came up with it in a dream, really woke up and like shook his brother and was like, we got to write this down right now. So it's just one of those like miracle songs, and I love it so much. So I'm glad it's here. Jimi Hendrix, yeah, he's an icon for a reason. This probably wouldn't have been the exact song I would choose. However, I definitely respect the pick because the slower tempo of this allows for that long instrumental section in the middle that really allows him to showcase his guitar skills. So it's definitely a good use of that. So big respect for that. And Too Late to Turn Back Now. I'm an old soul, as we'll find as I get to my list here. Yeah. So when this was the one that I was so surprised, I was like, I would expect me to put this on, but I didn't expect anyone else to. So it was a pleasant surprise. This is a fantastically catchy song, and it's just like a warm little hug, and you kind of just want to groove to it. So I absolutely love that that's here. And now we're going to roll into me, and I need to remember what my 10 are. So one moment as I scroll through this giant list that I made. Okay. So, and the icons are so tiny. So hopefully they are in the order I said. So small. Okay, we'll flip as we go. So before I start, I mentioned before, I put parameters on myself to make sure that I hit just how psychotic my musical taste is. So my list is going to be all over the map. It literally spans 6 decades. I'm sorry, I'm weird. So, and I did, again, like other people have said, I didn't put any Beatles on, which is a complete lie, but it's because we just did a Beatles show, so I'm not doing that. And there's tons of people that didn't make the list. I'm very sorry. But anyway, here we go. So there will be no repeats of any artist that was asked before in the chat. So yeah. My first song is Why Can't We Be Friends by War, and this is like the main reason why I didn't want to do this show last week, considering what was going on. Because when I first picked all of these songs, I was really trying to go into this as these are Jen's 10 favorite I'm happy songs. So these are things that like just I hear it and I instantly feel joy and nostalgia, and I want to bring that energy into 2021. We made these original picks back in 2020. It's a little different now, but it's still going to try to go for this. So I've always loved this song. It's just one of those simple message, simple feel to it. It's just kind of like a party song. It almost feels like a jam session because like every single person in the band gets like their own little line in it. So it just kind of is a good time. And this fun factoid, this was made in the 70s, and it was actually shot by NASA into space while they were doing the Apollo Soyuz first international space mission between Russia and America working together. So it's just one of those nice stories of like, why can't we be friends? We all share so many things in this crazy thing we've called life. So why can't it shouldn't be this hard to get along. Having said that, there are some awful people in this world, so it's a little contradictory today to say that, but we're going to move on. Anyway, number 9 is the Immigrant Song. I absolutely love this song. I know I just talked about how we should all be friends and we should be peaceful. Whenever this song comes on, I just want to like, you hear it, you walk a little faster, you drive a little faster, you want to like just take over a village or something. It's awesome. So yeah, I needed a little bit of that headbanging element in my list, so this definitely hits the mark on that. And my number 8, which if I remember, I said I was going to be all over the map. La Vie en Rose. This is particularly the Louis Armstrong version. The Edith Piaf version is also beautiful, but I just think that the combination of the trumpet and Louis' like gravelly, warm voice really hits on this for me. And he's just one of those artists that if I'm having a bad day, I'll put on a couple of Louis Armstrong songs and I'll just instantly feel better. So yeah, that's my list. I'm crazy.
Yeah, Louis is amazing. His trumpeting is, and you probably also Wonderful World, another phenomenal song by Louis. Immigrant Song, like that's everybody. It's one of Led Zeppelin's best. You probably have heard it in Thor Ragnarok or whatever. And of course, Why Can't We Be Friends is super catchy. It makes you feel so good, and it's a lot of optimism that we need in this time. Maxwell, what are your thoughts on these 3 songs?
So I think something became clear in this exercise as it became similarly clear in the Beatles exercise, and it's that Jen and I are on like remarkably similar musical wavelengths. And we even had a conversation when we shared the playlist. Like, there's like 6 or 7 songs on each of our lists that we wanted to include, and we didn't. And so seeing them on the other person's list was like vindication. Like, oh, I get to talk about these songs too.
Yep.
So Led Zeppelin's one of my favorite bands of all time.
We can just put a slash on our title, and we'll do both.
Basically. Immigrant Song's incredible. Like Chris said, obviously we go immediately to Thor Ragnarok. Like, I hate not to make everything about Marvel and the MCU, but it's such a badass, iconic use of the song. But the other thing that I think of, and I know we floated the idea of doing like our favorite cover show, so I don't necessarily want to spoil anything, but the Trent Reznor cover of this that he did for Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which is used in like the James Bond-esque opening credits, is incredible. The guitar hook, it just like immediately makes you feel like you can conquer the world. And then La Vie en Rose is one of the most beautiful songs ever written. I would first, of course, go to the Edith Piaf version, but Louis' musicianship is second to none, and listening to his trumpet, it's sort of breathtaking. So again, eclectic. I didn't talk about Why Can't We Be Friends. It's just such a fun, catchy, happy song, and I wish more of these assholes in the world would like take this song to heart. It's like, stop being dicks and let's be friends. But yeah, three awesome choices.
Optimism is some of the best things that you can exude through music. And
yeah, Mike K mentions this song in School of Rock, and like before that, Led Zeppelin was always super hesitant to let their songs be used.
That is a fun fact for School of Rock. I know from watching the DVD, Jack Black specifically made a video request with the entire crew saying, please, for the love of God, let us use this song. So they're like, we cannot do a song about rock and roll without having it in there. So they let him have it. So we get that iconic little scene for that.
110%. PJ, what are your thoughts on these 3?
God, they're so good. Why can't we be friends? Number 1, the first thing I think of all things is Lethal Weapon 4, because it's the thing that closes out the movie, and they do like this yearbook shoot of all the films, and it feels like such a perfect way to like close out that chaotic series in being like, look back at all the things that we did, and like it really kind of makes the entire message of the song work, because that was the entire point of that whole series, is why can't we be friends in the end? So the irony is not lost on me for whatever reason, that's immediately where my mind goes. Immigrant Song, there's just not enough great things to say about Led Zeppelin. They're one of the all-time great bands. I had cut a Zeppelin song from my list originally, so I was happy that anyone made it on. And to Maxwell's point, my immediate thought as of recently is the girl with the dragon tattoo, because I really quite like Fincher's version, and I thought that song, that version of it is so great. And there's another song coming up, spoiler alert, that had another version that was covered by Trent Reznor for another project. So we'll talk about that when it comes up. And then Love Ye and Rose, Louis Armstrong, man. Like, I just, anything by Louis Armstrong is great. This song is incredible. I listen to it more than I like to admit. I just love Louis Armstrong, and this is such a great choice. So, yeah, kudos.
Tim.
Yeah, Why Can't We Be Friends? I love this song. It's super happy. It's super positive. It makes me just want to like be in like a bar drinking with people and just kind of like, yeah, man, let's throw a few back and just kick it. Immigrant Song is just super like, it just gets you pumped. If you're like, it's a good song to work out to. You gotta love Robert Plant's vocals. His screaming at the beginning. Or all throughout it, actually. But yeah, it's a great song. And La Vie en Rose, yeah, I mean, I love this. This version I actually prefer this version. I like the trumpet. I love the trumpet so much. And then when the vocals kick in, you're like, oh yeah, this is Louis Armstrong, and it's like incredible. And like his voice is so like unique and like I say this in a nice way, but strange, but like wonderfully.
It is.
It's wonderfully strange, and I love it.
Yeah. Max, Bartos.
Yeah. So starting off with Why Can't We Be Friends, I think it is so, apparent of the time. And I actually have a song on my list that I added specifically because of the time period right now. I like to call it a bar mitzvah song because it's the song that I always hear when I go to bar mitzvahs.
I didn't know that's a thing. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that played at my bar mitzvah. I think that because they do these like entrances at bar mitzvahs, and I know I entered to like "We Will Rock You" or something like that, but I think my grandma entered into "Why Can't We Be Friends?" So I have so many great memories of that song. I mean, fucking Immigrant Song. The first time that I heard that song was School of Rock. And yeah, I always have like nicknames and like classifications for songs. I call this one a driving song because every single time that I drive, I always like put my windows down. Anytime that I'm just feeling kind of like off, I'm always like, I have two Apple devices here. I have my phone and my Mac. So if I say SIRI, it'll go yes. Whenever I'm driving, I'll go like, hey, play Immigrant Song, and then it's like playing Immigrant Song, and it's just so badass. And my dad and I's favorite Marvel movie is Thor Ragnarok, and when we first saw the trailer in theaters, we both like grabbed each other's arms and we were like, nah, which is awesome. And then La Vie en Rose is so beautiful. I was actually really jealous. My mom and my sister went to see Edith Piaf's grave in Paris, and it was covered in thousands of roses because of this song. And I was so jealous of that. They also saw Chopin and Jim Morrison's grave in Paris, and I was like, oh, I'm really jealous of you guys. So, I mean, La Vie en Rose is one of the songs that I have on a playlist where it's just like when Max's brain needs a detox. It's when things get too crazy in the world. It's like the Zoloft of songs. It just calms. It just makes you feel like everything's okay in the world. But yeah, I mean, it's so funny how you go, like the progression of these picks is like happy, upbeat,
I got it, yeah.
fucking metal as all fuck, and then da 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 da. But
I figured we need a cool down phase. That's all.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and I mean another memory I have with La Vie en Rose is seeing it in How I Met Your Mother. My mom and my dad and I all made it our mission to watch all of How I Met Your Mother during quarantine. And 2 weeks ago we finished it, and we were all like, "So now what do we watch?" And we've just been trying to like find shows to watch. But yeah, I mean, great picks.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna go with my bottom three. Now, everybody had given themselves perimeters. I didn't do that.
I'm shocked by this revelation.
The reason why, though, it's just for accuracy. I have three specific music artists that I love very much, and there was
Who
no
would those
way.
be?
I don't know who they would be. There's no way for me to make a 10 of my favorite song list without at least giving myself some. So I do have repeat artists, but my list is much less upbeat than everybody else's. I'm a very big lyric guy, and a song that has a lot of emotion and a lot of story behind it. Not, I would say that none of my list is really that fun. I would say. If that makes any sense.
I sat on a call, this call in particular, waiting for us to start, and Chris didn't know I could hear him. And he said out loud to himself, "None of my songs are a bop, so take that for what you will."
Chris, are you the one that put 3 Cannibal Corpse songs on your playlist?
Yeah, I have a lot of Cannibalism Corpse. I mean, no, I'm just kidding. My first song, though, is one of the 3 artists that I love very dearly. His name is Elton John. This song doesn't get a lot of love. I mean, well, not because it's hits, but this up there anymore. This is essentially a very, very song about Elton's struggles with the system and how he was on drugs and how he was like a one-way track, and he was just going forward and not looking back and not stopping for anybody because of his ego and regretting it. And I think this is a very, very powerful song and a very self-reflective song by Elton, and it's beautiful. It won out over a certain song that somebody else has on their list, but we'll get to that when we get to that. My next one is Sad Song by Paul Williams. If you don't know who Paul Williams is, he wrote the Muppet movie and the Muppet Christmas Carol. Yes. And this song you can hear, and you can actually, if you look this song up on YouTube, he did perform this song with the Muppets on the Muppet Show. And yes, that piano is Jim Henson as Rolf playing piano as Paul is singing. And I really love how he's singing about a sad song and how like these sad songs can sort of bring the emotion back into you, and even if they're sad, they can still bring a little activity. And I think it really fits the Muppet vibe, and it has that Muppet instrumentation. And it's a Muppet song. It feels like a Muppet song, and I really love. And I wish it was in a Muppet movie. I think I think the chorus is really great. And then my next one is another favorite artist of mine is Billy Joel. I picked Vienna, which essentially is about a father telling his son. Billy wrote it about his father telling his son to not grow up too quick. Don't let your childhood, your younger years go by, because you won't get them back. And Vienna, because Vienna's waiting for you, even if you're growing old or whatever. Vienna, that's your end point. You're going to get there regardless. Just don't get there too quickly. So those are my 3 songs that my first 3. I'm going to throw it over to Jen. Jen, what are your thoughts on these 3 songs?
These are my 3 favorite picks from Chris. So just remember this, okay? So yeah. This Train Don't Stop Anymore. This is one of Elton's a little bit later in his career songs that I think a lot of people don't know, but it is a fantastic song. And I didn't know about the music video before. It's also a really good music video that it's actually Justin Timberlake is like embodying Elton John, and it's like a one-shot kind of thing where there's all these little symbolic references in the background to all these different phases of his career. But yeah, it's beautiful lyrically, just kind of looking back at his life. And since we have a Sing Street person on here, I do want to say I thought I had a very strong Sing Street connection in this. There's the line of "I used to be the main express," and that hits me just as hard as in Sing Street "I used to be a fucking jet engine." It's just one of those things of like you looking back on your life and seeing all the things you could have been, but you start finding yourself going down these avenues that you didn't quite intend to, and looking back, and it could have been something else, but you never know. So it's one of those beautiful songs from Elton. Are we surprised? Sad Song, it is definitely a Muppet-like song, and I love the video that he was talking about of him actually singing it on the Muppet Show, because when you listen to the tempo of this song, you just find yourself like automatically doing the Muppet sway that they always love to do, and it's just a beautiful thing. So yeah, this is a great song from Paul Williams, and you kind of like, it is very long. It actually is a little repetitive, but it kind of feels like you kind of fall into it and you just kind of lose yourself in the rhythm of the song. So it's a really fun pick. Vienna, I love this song from Billy Joel. It's one of those anthems for the overachievers and people that think that they're going to burn out because they're just trying so hard to grind to get what you want in life. But if you just slow down and enjoy it, things will work themselves out. So yeah, these are 3 fantastic picks that I do enjoy on Chris's list.
Yeah. Maxwell, what are your thoughts on these 3?
Yeah, I'm glad Jen mentioned Justin Timberlake, because when I think of This Train Don't Stop, I immediately think of Justin Timberlake. I remember that music video so well. It was sort of an out of the box, but I think it became sort of iconic. It's a beautiful song, very personal. Sad song. Paul Williams is fascinating. I mean, this dude is an incredible songwriter. He worked with the Muppets, and then he's an actor and stuff like Battle for the Planet of the Apes. Yep. And like The Princess Diaries 2 Royal Engagement. So it's just, his career is just wild.
That was great.
But I agree. It's such a Muppety song. And then Vienna almost made my list. It was so close. It's my favorite Billy Joel song. And, you know, it's fascinating how when the album first came out, it wasn't that popular. And then over time... Yeah, over time, it just gained more and more appreciation, and I think is widely regarded as one of Billy's best tunes. It's such a beautiful song. I agree with what Jen said. This is like my favorite chunk of Chris's list.
Strong out the gate.
Yeah.
That's all good. PJ.
I mean, similarly, Train Don't Stop is one of the great Elton John songs. Like, Elton John does great work, man. Like, who are we kidding? And this song in particular about someone dealing with their addiction and stuff is really remarkable. It's such a great pick. Sad song, similarly to the panel. I'm a huge Muppets fan. Go figure. I know. I love the Muppets. And so this song definitely has, like, that Muppet vibe. Paul Williams is a cool dude, man. And the fact that he got to do the song with the Muppets is even better. It's just a really fun song, and Vienna is similarly my favorite Billy Joel song, like Maxwell. So I was glad to see it on the list. It just hits, man, and I'm glad that it's gotten more appreciation over time. And similarly to Jen and Maxwell, this is my favorite chunk of Chris's list as well. There's some other songs on here I can't wait to talk about, but this is the best chunk of it.
Tim.
Yeah, I'll echo what everyone else said. This Train Don't Stop is great. I mostly think of the music video, I love the music video. Later, Elton did some interesting videos because he had this one, and then he had I Want Love with Robert Downey Jr. And they're both very kind of similar, you know, in a way, in terms of how the video plays out. Well, what I also love about the video is it has Paul Rubens in it, who of course is in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, my favorite movie. And so yeah, sad song. I'd never heard the song. I really enjoyed it. I didn't know much about Paul Williams until like I met Chris Clark and started checking it out. Other than the fact I knew that he was originally supposed to be Mr. Kid in Diamonds Are Forever, which is one of the assassins in that movie, which was later actually given to another kind of like obscure musician, Putter Smith. But I think it's a really, really, really good song. And then yeah, Vienna is like one of the all-time Billy Joel songs. I mean, there's not much else to say. It's a beautiful song and it's incredible. So yeah.
Next.
Yeah. You know, I think Elton John has. I mean, if you look at just the spectrum of the kind of songs he can write things like Crocodile Rock, and then he can also write things like your song and This Train Don't Stop. Chris, I'm a lot like you where I really listen to the lyrics of songs and get the message behind them. Like one of my favorite things to do is to take a song that I know and like, for instance, like Welcome to the Black Parade, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. I'll sit down and I'll read the lyrics like a monologue, and it just like unlocks a whole different side of it. Oh yeah. So I mean, sad song. When I was gonna click on it, I was like, okay, so this is definitely gonna be like mellow and like, you know, kind of emo. And then I was like doing the Muppets way, and then I had my AirPods in. Then my mom was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "What? Oh,
instinct."
Yeah. And then I remember it was like it unlocked like like a suppressed memory of me driving in a car. Not I wasn't driving obviously because like I just got my license like a month
Because
and a half.
you're young, Max. It's
So-
okay. Because you're young.
But when I was like 8, my dad was driving down to Hilton Head with all of us, and we rented like a minivan, and we had a TV, like a DVD player in the van, and my mom got the Muppets on DVD, and it was the episode where they were singing that song. So it was sort of like a cool recovered memory that I was like, oh yeah. And then Billy Joel, I mean, there are not that many artists that can sustainably write the same kind of music, and Billy Joel executes that extremely well. I mean, I was supposed to go see him in concert when I was like 14, but I had gotten into a really bad bike accident and I ended up with a concussion, so I couldn't do like the bass and stuff. But my dad went with his friend instead, so I was like, darn you, concussion. So, speak of the devil, he's back. You bring a cat this time?
I didn't.
Oh, you're in the water though.
He's being
Thanks,
a little
Dad.
flawn.
Um,
Someone's laundry's done.
but no, I mean for Vienna, I mean,
Yeah.
the not to get existential, but I feel like the human race has an idea where everybody has a first and a second act in their life, and as soon as their first act ends, the second act, which is even better, begins. Whereas then you're 80 years old and you're looking back and you're like, where was my second act? And little did you know that your life is a one act play. So hearing that is sort of reaffirming that you don't have to get straight A's. You don't have to be the best in your class. Just live your life, appreciate every heartbeat, and appreciate every breath that you take. So, yeah.
110%. Maxwell, you're 3.
All right, here we go. It's been an hour. All right. So
You might need an intermission.
Yeah. Drag these over. Okay. So my first one is The Chain by Fleetwood Mac. This comes off the album Rumors, which I think is one of the greatest albums ever made. I think this is the best song on the album. This is just an incredible song, the musicality of it. But what's really striking about it is, so when Fleetwood Mac was making Rumors, the band was in like disarray. Like Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham were breaking up. Another couple in the band was breaking up. They recorded most of the album disparately from each other. There was like fighting over who got credit for writing which song. This is the only song on the album that all 5 members of the band got writing credit. But it's a beautiful song, but it has a lot of pain about being, I'm being little, but when you're like chained to someone, when you're in a band or in a relationship together, and when you feel that fracture and you're being torn apart. So I think when you listen to it, it's easy to forget what it's saying, what the lyrics are. It's just such a beautiful song. And it was used really well in one of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Yep.
My next one is Knights of Sidonia by Muse. Muse is basically to me what Coheed is to PJ. This song is wild. It's basically like a sci-fi western. Like it has sound effects of horses. The musical motif is like inspired by the 5-note John Williams score for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Excuse me. The guitar riffs are so badass. Like this is a song that like I would say is hard rockin', to use a Chris Clark term. The music video is incredible. It's just such like a journey. It makes you feel like you're in a Western. It makes you feel like you're in a sci-fi. It makes you want to just rock out. And it's such a great song. And I love that Muse is like, they're alternative rock, but they also bring like so much electronic influence to it and so much like sci-fi and modern stuff in. And I think this is probably the best example of how they do that. And then my next one is Grace Kelly by Mika. I've seen a lot of concerts in my life. I got to see Mika when he was on tour for this album. This was his first album, and this was his debut single. And it's still to this day one of the most fun concerts I've ever been to. There may be no single more joyous song in existence than this song. And, he even says in the song, like, so I try to be a little Freddie. Like his voice and Freddie Mercury's are not dissimilar. This song feels so much like it came from the 70s. It has like a David Bowie element. It has a Queen element. The piano work is very Elton John. And I think Mika is really the like spiritual successor to all of those artists. And I wish he was more well known. His career never quite exploded like I thought it should. But, you know, this song uses dialogue clips from a Grace Kelly movie. It's just fun. It makes me happy. It's like the perfect song to play if you're in a bad mood. It just lifts your spirits. So, yeah.
Yeah, the chain is a masterpiece. Knights of Symphonia, the No One's Gonna Take It a cappella section is really, really good. I really, really dug that. That's the first time I ever heard it, and I really want to go back and like explore. But I want to get to the Mika song because the Mika song is amazing. It really is, as you said, one of the most upbeat songs really I've ever heard. And also, it does have elements of Elton and a lot of Bowie and stuff. But it really is for the forefront Freddie, and it sounds like Freddie. And he could have easily have done the vocals for Bohemian Rhapsody. So he sounds exactly like him. And I felt like in my notes here, this sounds like Seaside Rendezvous by Queen. It has that kind of vibe. I really, really dug
Well,
it.
and Mika and Freddie have a lot in common because Mika is Lebanese and British.
He is.
So they have a sort of similar background, and they don't even look that far apart. So, like, he would have been brilliant casting for the movie, but what can you do?
What can you do? Is what it is. Max, what are your thoughts on these three songs?
Yeah, the chain is absolutely incredible. I first started listening to Stevie Nicks after hearing her song in School of Rock. Ironically, that's how I got into Zeppelin and Fleetwood Mac. It's just it's one of those songs where you could have 20 people listen to it, and each of those 20 people would have a different take on it. And I find that remarkable. Knights of Symphonia, I loved. I thought it was so cool. I thought it was sort of in like the weirdness of like Tans de Vampire land, and I thought it was really fucking dope. I loved it. I explained it to my dad by saying, "Now imagine that you're John Wayne, but you have an electric guitar."
Yep.
Yeah.
He was like, "Interesting." He always does this face where he goes, "Okay." He did that. And then Mika, I agree completely. So Queen is one of my favorite bands of all time. I always say it's My Chem, Queen, and then Smashing Pumpkins are my favorite bands. Meatloaf is my favorite singular artist. But Mika is, I really do believe he's like Freddie Mercury reincarnated. It's so crazy how similar they sound. And you're right about Seaside Rendezvous. I literally was like, "Oh my!" Like
You heard that, right? It sounds exactly like it. Yeah.
Well, I had to check my phone. I was like, I need to make sure that like A Night at the Opera or Queen 2 or Sheer Heart Attack didn't come on by accident. I was like, wait a second, because I have like 80 Queen playlists on my phone. So I needed to make sure that like one didn't come on by accident. And I was like, nope. Okay, well, this is my new like artist obsession.
Great.
So yeah.
Tim.
The chain Fleetwood Mac. Spoilers was like one of the harder like things I left off my list because I love them so much. Rumors is like a perfect album. It's probably a top 5 album for me. I think it's incredible. And the chain, I agree. I think it's probably the best song on this album. It's incredible. There's not much else to say. I mean, Stevie and Mick and everyone. It's great. And I think Max bringing up the drama behind the band. I think that would make Maxwell. Sorry, I think that would make a great movie someday if someone could figure out how to make Fleetwood Mac biopic. But that would be great. Knights of Sidonia. I fell in love with Muse about the time, even though they had other albums come out. I kind of fell in love with them when this album came out, when Black Holes and Revelations came out. And then after the fact, I went back and listened to a lot of their catalog, and I think they're one of my favorite bands. I've seen them live; they're incredible live, and I'm lucky to have seen them live because they're like their recorded songs are incredible, but I think live they're one of the bands that's even better live, and they're.
I've seen them live more than any other band, and actually the other band they most reminded me of live is U2.
Yeah.
The production value that they put into their concerts is fucking mind-blowing. Like on their drones tour, they had 40 drones that flew around the arena forming letters and I mean, it's just incredible stuff. Their use of lighting and tech is wild.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Like if you could see, if you ever have the chance to see them live, like go, please. It's incredible.
I second that.
Yeah, well, I watched a concert video and I was like,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah, they're great. And this song, I mean, I remember the music video for it. The music video was great. It was like a movie. It was like a Western, a weird sci-fi Western. It reminded me of this movie I watched as a kid called Oblivion. I don't know if everyone's ever seen it. It's a weird sci-fi Western called Oblivion. There's a sequel as well, but it reminded me a lot of that. And then I think it's the perfect song to close out the album too, because I believe it's the last track on the album, and it works well with that. Grace Kelly, I had forgot about this song, and then it came on, and I was like, oh, because I was like, what is this song? And then I was like, and then when I played it, I was like, oh yeah, I've heard this song for sure, and I completely, for some reason, it left my memory and my conscious, and I'm so glad that Maxwell put it on the list because now it's back on my radar, and I'll make sure that I don't forget it again because it's just lovely and incredible and super catchy, and yeah, I love it. As soon as it came on, I had to go back and listen to it again. I had to do a repeat, do it right over. It's great.
My job here is done. Have a good night, everyone.
Jen.
This won't be the last time I say it on the thing, but I love Maxwell's picks. The Chain is just an amazing song, just from the opening kick drum and the little twang guitar. You know you're in for something special, and just the harmonies in this song particularly are just killer. And the bass riff at the bridge is just freaking amazing. So yeah, I absolutely love this song. I came this close to having Fleetwood Mac on my thing. I actually have a different song in mind, but I will not say it because it most likely will land on the list if we do this again. But yeah, so Knights of Sidonia is friggin' masterful. This is the Muse epic. It's just insanity, and it probably shouldn't work, but it definitely does. And yeah, you can literally feel the galloping beat, so you really feel like you're on the horse in space, and it's freaking amazing. So yeah, it's just one of those songs of revolution, which Muse has really perfected at this point. Every single song of theirs is just so powerful. It's simple in its lyrics, but also at the same time, it's just epic. So I absolutely love them. And I was so surprised. I was like, oh my God, somebody remembers Mika. Because I was like, I really wanted to put him on. I was like, nobody's going to remember this. I'm not going to move it on. But yeah, this is a fantastic single that was really his debut that should have been bigger in the US. And from hearing this song, I went and got the album Cartoon in Motion, and every single song on that
every song
is amazing. There are tons of bop. But there's also these really beautiful ballads that have full on chorus backing and everything. So it's all amazing. So by all means, go check out that album. It's amazing. I love these picks.
Yeah. PJ, before I throw it to you, since you're actually going to be going next, I want to just say this: for the next round of picks, you're going to pick your next 4, and then we're going to end on our final 3. Okay, so we don't go through 4 rotations, it's 3 rotations, just because we'll be here for 3 hours. So, PJ,
Yes.
I would love to do that. I just don't know how long you guys...
Look, I'll say this. Literally everyone covered anything I could have possibly said about any of the songs that we just mentioned at this point, so I'm just going to go ahead and move on. Outside of, if you've never seen the Knights of Sidonia music video, please do, because it's fucking awesome, and Muse rocks, and I really need to see them live. That's my one thing. All right, so my number, what is this, 7?
Yeah.
Is Mama I'm Coming Home by Ozzy Osbourne. Of all the songs that Ozzy ever did, everything that everyone goes back to is stuff like Crazy Train and Suicide Solution, but there's something about his more melancholy, looking back songs when he was dealing with addiction and dealing with the stuff going on with Sharon that really has always stood out, and this song has always been, for me at least, one of those very beautiful ballads that he did. He didn't do a lot of this. Ozzy's known for biting the heads off of bats and doing crazy shit on stage. And so when you find those ones, when it's those small moments of reflection that are really, really powerful, this song has always done something for me in that regard, and that's why I love it. Following up on that is In the End by Linkin Park. I think that this is pretty much the epitome of everything that rap rock could ever be. Linkin Park is such a remarkable band, and this song is, for every reason that we still talk about it and still listen to all these years later, it just works. The lyrics are awesome. The beats are amazing. Everything about it just works on every level. That leads me to Eminem, Sing for the Moment. And this song will never not be relevant, no matter how many times I listen to it. every time I listen to it, like of all the songs off of the Eminem show, this song in particular has always stood out. Yes, a part of it is because it uses Aerosmith as the bass, but the other part is that the entire song is about someone who is so tired of being blamed for the shit that's going on in the world because kids listen to music, and that this idea that everyone wants to warp that it always has to do with the things that you're listening to on your headphones or the games that you're playing, when it's like it has nothing to do with that. The world around us is bad and we could do better by trying to fix things, but instead you want to blame everyone else. And like there's something very powerful about that, and like I said, seems real fucking relevant, all things being equal, with the things that continue to go on. But that leads to my last song in this cycle, and that is Dream On by Aerosmith. They just kind of ended up back to back that way. But look, I love Aerosmith. This song in
PJ,
particular,
you just put the same song in twice. You can't-
I don't know what you're talking about. They're very different. They're very different. One just happens to use the beat of the other. But this song, it's a standout Aerosmith song for a reason. It's a song that just makes you feel like you could go out and fight and do anything, and just it works, man. I love this song. I think of Miracle every time that I hear it because of the ending of the film and the way that they use it. But it's just Steven Tyler's vocals in particular, always in this song, just so good. Those are my four.
No, they're phenomenal for. I feel like the Eminem song. Obviously, Eminem's not my style of music, but the fact that he really messed with "Dream On," which the chorus is never used. It's just the sing for the moment portion, and it really that beat really fit in. "Dream On" is phenomenal. "Dream On" actually almost made my list. I love "Dream On." I know Steven Tyler's voice is great, but I think it has some of the best guitar work ever in classic.
Oh yeah.
In the End was a very interesting song. I'm not really familiar with Linkin Park, but I said it had a great piano intro, and I really felt like the momentum was really kicked in once you got to the last minute and a half or so, and I felt like it just was building up and building up. I like the build up to that. And Mama, I'm Coming Home is something that Ozzy, as you said, I love Ozzy, and he just did a very downbeat album, Ordinary Man. Yeah. Which this kind of harkens to. There's a lot of songs on there. He actually did a song on there with Elton, and it's just "Mama, I'm Coming Home" is just Ozzy at his most pure and vulnerable. And I felt like it really captured who Ozzy is, because most people, obviously, as you said, think of him as the Bat Eater, but he's more than that. He has a lot of emotion and a lot of, especially in these lyrics, a lot of stuff that he wants to put out there, and he wears his heart on his sleeve. Maxwell, what are your thoughts on PJ?
So I'll start with I had really only heard one or two songs by Ozzy Osbourne before. His music had always just sort of escaped me for whatever reason. I mostly thought of him as like the bumbling reality TV star idiot on that show he did with his family, which I enjoyed and used to watch. And I was sort of surprised by how fucking beautiful and touching and emotional this song is. Like, it really sort of took my breath away because it didn't align with my perception of him at all. Like, I had two visions of him. One is like the crazy metal Bat Eater
Where's my remote?
type, and then the other is the bumbling reality TV show idiot. So to hear this and really, I feel like I got a sense of who he is as a human, what his internal struggle was. A really beautiful song. In the End is interesting because I feel like for a while, Linkin Park was kind of a joke as a band, and they weren't respected and got made fun of a lot. But I think they're actually kind of a brilliant band, and especially in the years since Chester's very tragic demise, they have gotten just more and more love and respect. This is one of their best songs, but the argument I would make is the mashup of this song on Collision Course with Jay-Z is even better. That is one of my favorite albums, legit. I actually considered putting one of the tracks. It might have been Numb instead of this off Collision Course, but it's still a great song. And I went to an event that a local alt-rock station held a couple years ago called Not So Silent Night, which was like, what Jingle Ball is, but this was like the alt-rock version of Jingle Ball. So Mike Shinoda was one of the performers. He's in Linkin Park. Yeah. And so he performed a couple of Linkin Park songs, and frankly, it was terrible without Chester, and he just couldn't sing the parts. He was basically like, okay, crowd, you sing Chester parts, and I'll just do the rapping. But it was still cool to see it. And I did get to see Linkin Park once when I was younger in concert with Stained. And I
wow.
remember I was with my brother-in-law and his friend, and they hated it so much they went and got beers and sat in chairs in the hallways. Song for the moment. So I almost had an Eminem song on my list. I'm not going to say which one because if we do this again, it would almost certainly be on my list. This is not one I would have immediately thought when considering my favorite Eminem songs, but it is a really beautiful song, and I think it is so powerful almost exclusively because of how fucking good Dream On is.
Yeah.
Dream On is one of the great rock songs of all time. And like PJ said, I hear the song and I immediately think of Miracle. I think that's one of like the great pairings of song and movie.
Yeah.
This song is inspiring and uplifting, and it makes me want to like go out and conquer the world, and it makes me believe in myself when I am sometimes feeling down. So,
Cool.
yeah, good picks across the board.
Jen.
I want to say it's amazing that even though we're all such good friends and have similar tastes in like movies and TV shows, there's not a single fucking repeat. Yeah,
There's nothing.
I know, right?
And there's not gonna be, I don't think. Jen,
Spoilers.
oh,
Yeah, these are fantastic picks. Ozzy can write a really good love song.
Yes,
Yeah,
he
this is a
can.
really sweet song, and I think it's beautiful. Like just the opening of the layered mixture of both the acoustic and the electric guitars before it really like shifts into a power ballad. It's really sweet, and it's one of those like love isn't perfect, but I still want you kind of things. So it's just one of those beautiful things. Way to go, Ozzy. Linkin Park, I love Linkin Park. In the end, it's a classic song. I think they kind of hit it like the perfect time for me of like they really just kind of tap into that teen angst, desperation. You just kind of got to scream it out sometimes, and that's one of the perfect songs to do that in here. And I absolutely love the piano hook that goes throughout the entire song. Sing for the moment, yeah. Eminem's great. I was upset that I didn't really put any of his songs on my list. But yeah, like he's a really smart lyricist, and it kind of hurts that like he's both acknowledging and protesting how his music is perceived and how it takes like a white rapper to really have to defend black music, stereotypically black music, and have people actually listen. But I always love the line that's how he sees the moment and try to freeze it and own it of like, with these kind of things, like we do this because these songs, even though they're written as a global situation, people tap into certain songs and certain lyrics and certain moments in their life, and you find that sense of belonging. And that's what he's really like speaking to here. So it's one of those things of you can look at it as a stereotypical thing that's like driving kids crazy and stuff, but at the same time, they're finding themselves in this kind of music, and that can't be bad. So yeah, I love this song. And if I love that song, I absolutely love Dream On. So Aerosmith is a Boston band. Of course I love Aerosmith, but yeah, this is just one of those iconic songs, and you just hear the opening chorus, you get excited. And yeah, it's just one of those, you manage to feel the full weight of the world and keep going and persist, and you're going to get your dream. And just the whale, when he hits the whale, I lose it every time. So yeah, I absolutely love this song.
Max Waters. Max.
Yeah. I mean, Mama, I'm Coming Home. That's actually, I got a 12-string guitar a few years ago, and that's the first song I learned on it was the intro, the da 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 da. And I think that it's literally such a simple scale, but he found a way to make it iconic, and that's incredible. Yeah, Ozzy, I always had this, there's always the stories of him peeing on the ants and then licking it with Motley Crue and all that, and him just being a fucking nut job on stage. But then he also, like, I remember hearing this song for the first time in, like, 5th grade, and I was like, this dude's got some shit to say. And, I mean, in the end, I remember when Chester passed, and it was really hard because he was so vocal about his issues and his mental health and his past and stuff. And he was, one of the preachers for, there's always a better way out. There's always don't commit suicide. And, the fact that that's ultimately how he ended his life is heartbreaking. And I remember as soon as I heard that, I just cried for like 3 hours. So anytime I hear Linkin Park, I'm like, boom. Sing for the moment. I am not the biggest fan of rap or Eminem in particular, but this is my favorite Eminem song. I think it's really, really good. I think and this makes me want to listen to him more because literally all that I've heard of him before this was Mom's Spaghetti. So now after hearing this and like it was one of those this dude's got some shit to say moments.
Yep.
Yeah,
Dream
you know, he makes a lot of like dick jokes and says some misogynistic stuff and has like a sort of frat boy stuff, but there's actually a lot of his songs where he's a far more poignant and thoughtful thinker than you might initially give him credit for, and that he can balance it in his work is what I find so remarkable about him.
Yeah, I mean, probably like the furthest I've ever like delved into the rap genre is 21 Pilots, and that's for the same reason. Is like you listen to Tyler Joseph's lyrics; they're just fucking poetry, and I love him. Dream On is a classic. I love it so much. I remember for like 3 years I was practicing the Dream On, and then I finally got it one day, and I was like, oh. But I mean, yeah, Steven Tyler is a beast. He's, I remember, I think the first time I heard that song was on the Rock and Roller Coaster at Disney. And
Of all things.
Oh, yeah. And then I fell in love with it. And then Aerosmith, they're one of the great rock bands. Yeah.
Tim.
I'll go quick. I love this Ozzy song. I'm a sucker for like the Ozzy like ballad songs. So like I love this song. I love Dreamer. I love his cover of In My Life.
Yeah.
So yeah, this song's great. In the end, this is the song that like for me started it all with Linkin Park. You know, with Hybrid Theory and specifically with this song. This is the song that reeled me in, and I think it's one of their best songs. Sing for the Moment. I am a big Eminem fan. This isn't the song I would put on my list, but it is a very good song. It definitely makes my top like Eminem songs list. And the use of Dream On is great throughout the song. And then Dream On, is Aerosmith's best song. It's not my favorite Aerosmith song, but it is their best song. And it's weird because like to me, like I always found this song like interesting because to me it doesn't sound like Steven Tyler. His voice doesn't really sound this good on any other song ever again to me. Like, and I'm not saying that in like a bad way. I really love Aerosmith's like catalog overall, but his song is just his voice is different in this song than any other song that they've ever done. Like it doesn't sound like to me it doesn't sound like the same person at all. And I
agree
in a bad way, but it just doesn't sound like maybe all the coke got to him and then like there goes his voice. So
I agree 100%.
So yeah, that's my thoughts on those songs. A great, nice chunk there, PJ.
Thanks,
Max.
man.
I'm gonna hit it over to you again, Bartos. What are your next 4 songs on your list?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's do the good old drag and drop. All right, there we go. So I was looking through. I think I made a mistake and I accidentally put Bad on twice, but it should have been Northern Downpour by Panic at the Disco. So
that's my fault. I can.
No problem.
You can blame Chris. It's fine.
Yeah, we blame Chris here for everything, Max. Don't worry.
But yeah, Northern Downpour by Panic, and then I have Who Wants to Live Forever by Queen, and then Tonight by the Smashing Pumpkins, and then What's Your Name by Green Day. So I'll start off by talking about Northern Downpour. So Northern Downpour is one of my favorite Panic songs. I love Panic at the Disco. I think Brendan Urie is the best modern day vocalist I've ever heard. And hearing, I always like listening to bands where I can listen to their first album and listen to their last album and hear the change that has occurred. So you can hear in this song in particular, Pretty Odd, which is the album that this came off of, was very inspired by the Beatles. Brendan wanted to do a 60s inspired album. And Who's in the 9 in the Afternoon is also on this one. Their whole aesthetic changed. And then they went into Vices and Virtues, and that's my favorite Panic album. But yeah. And then Who Wants to Live Forever by Queen is my favorite Queen song of all time. I first heard this when I was watching Highlander with my dad.
Oh no! Here we go!
Oh my God! You said
yeah.
You said the dirty word, Max.
Oh, Well, I want to say my dad actually has a vintage Highlander poster from the he got it from like a movie theater that was showing it in like the 80s.
Nice.
And he lost it, and I was like, "What? Oh, how?" So, but I think one of the things that really gets me about this song is just imagining. I mean, Freddie Mercury is one of my biggest idols of all time. And picturing him literally dying while he was writing this is so hard. Especially hearing it's so haunting. And then that key change into the "and we can have forever and we can love forever." It was just, and then Tonight by the Smashing Pumpkins. The Smashing Pumpkins is in my top 3 favorite bands of all time. I think Billy Corgan has a very similar kind of voice to Louis Armstrong, where it's not, it's a very unique voice. I think Apple Music described him perfectly when they say that he snarled his way through the 90s. But Tonight, I think, is one of the best songs written by the Pumpkins. The fact that Billy Corgan can take such deep, distraught lyrics, but put it in this very upbeat chord progression is just absolutely incredible. I think that it's a masterpiece of melancholy and the infinite sadness. And there we go.
There you go.
I'm sorry, I forgot to make it. Whoops.
No, you're good. And then What's Her Name by Green Day. This is my favorite Green Day song of all time. I think it is severely underrated, but it's just so beautifully written. And you remember whatever, it feels like forever ago. I remember her face, but I can't recall the name. Now I wonder how What's Her Name has been. It's just so fucking poignant. And I think that the idea of moving on from a tortured past and moving on from past relationships and past downfalls, and to the point where you're like, I wonder how she, like, that's just like the epitome of like, I don't give a fuck, and I just really admire that. And just the the ba da 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 is just like, I'm speechless when it comes to that song. I really am. But yeah.
Yeah, What's Her Name is, I think, a forgotten gem on American Idiot. I think it's just, it has a kind of similar vibe to their later song, kind of Stray Heart. I really dig it a lot. I will say that the Panic at the Disco song, again, I'm not huge. I've not really delved into Panic at the Disco, but Brandon Urie always blows me away. He does a great cover of Moving Out, and his vocals are phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
There's no exception. But I want to focus on and Smashing Pumpkins again. It has a great driving beat. I got right into it. I want to explore Smashing Pumpkins more and their discography and stuff.
Yes.
Again, that's a blind spot for me as well. But Queen's Why Don't We Live Forever? This and The Show Must Go On are probably with 2 big contenders on my list as well. And I really just love Freddie's voice. As you said, he's phenomenal. And I wish this song was like, I know it's like everybody, it's a fan favorite. I wish it was more well known. I really appreciate this choice, though. I'm going to throw it to you, PJ. What are your thoughts on these 4?
First, Northern Downpour by Panic at the Disco is a great song. I'm a big Panic fan. That song is just so good. I think that's one of their best. But Who Wants to Live Forever? I literally watched Highlander in the last week. I was rewatching it. I know. And I was texting about this song in the moment in the movie in particular, because I think this is one of the best. One of the best, sorry as my voice cracks, was like one of the best versions of like song to movie and like putting it in the way that they do. It's so heartbreaking and so beautiful at the same time. And then like when you think about what was actually happening when it was being written, it makes it almost worse, because the entire sequence is done to the fact that Connor's wife is dying in like over time, and that whole montage is really incredible. Tonight, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness is one of my favorite albums of all time.
Yeah.
So it broke my heart to not have any Smashing Pumpkins. So when you put it on, I lost my mind because I was like, Max is really good people, and I actually want to be friends with you. Like your music taste is excellent. Tonight is one of the great songs off that album. And then What's Her Name? I think Mike said it best in the chat. What's Her Name is arguably the greatest closing track of all time, at least in Green Day's discography. I mean, what else is there to say? That song is perfect.
Yeah.
Great choices, dude.
Great choices. Tim.
Yeah, the Northern Downpour by Panic at the Disco is a great song. I love Panic. I was super into them when they first debuted. This song kind of reminds me like if Panic like made a Beatles song, it would be this song because it kind of it reminds me a lot of like the Beatles, especially with the way it ends, particularly. And then, what are you laughing at?
Yeah.
No, I like lost my breath and my voice cracked, and there we go.
Can't handle it. Who Wants to Live Forever? I mean, PJ said enough about that, but that's a great song. It's used
Thanks, Tim.
It's used in Highlander. No, it is. It's an incredible song. I mean, it's a lot different from kind of like your rockin' vibes of Queen, and it showcases Freddie's vocals. Like
it's more rock opera.
Yeah, it's great. I'll come back tonight. What's Her Name is a great song. I kind of forgot about this song as well. Like Chris said, it's kind of like it kind of slides by, and I was happy to get reacquainted with it because I do love Green Day. I tend to listen to a lot of like more earlier Green Day, but I do like this song a lot. Now tonight, I was 12 years old when Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness came out. Yes, I'm old, and that album was incredible. This song, like this, when I think of like my like living with like, my MTV experience, I think of this song. This is the song that like introduced me to MTV, and there may have been earlier songs, but this is what I think of because the music video for this song is also incredible. It's basically a music video version of George Milet's Trip to the Moon, which is awesome. And yeah, the song is incredible. This is one of the songs that could sneak into my top 10 list. It's right outside my top 10 list, and I love it. I listen to it all the time. And Billy's vocals aren't for everyone, but they're for me, and I love him. And yeah,
me too.
He's also just kind of a cool dude. He's a big sports fan, so yeah.
I actually see it right here. I got my sister got this for me for Hanukkah. It's the entire box vinyl of Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness.
Oh, nice.
Oh wow.
So, yeah.
I love that.
It's literally 5 pounds. It's insane. But yeah.
Jen.
These are great picks. I love Northern Downpour. The transition from Pretty Fever You Can't Sweat Out to Pretty Odd is massive. It's a completely different sound, and I absolutely love it. I love both, but yeah, I actually find myself coming back to Pretty Odd more. And this song in particular, it's really interesting because it's like lyrically, it's a little vague. They're kind of going more for like an atmosphere than an actual storyline, and I think it works really well. So yeah, I absolutely love that song. Tonight, it's a great song. I don't really have much to add, so I'm going to keep moving because we have a lot of time here. Who Wants to Live Forever is a beautiful, epic rock ballad. It just feels like this simultaneously uplifting but mournful, almost like a psalm, really. And Freddie's just unbelievable. It's not the last time we're going to talk about him tonight, so I'll keep moving. And What's Her Name? I absolutely love this song. It's one of my favorites off of American Idiot, and I think it is overlooked a lot. It's just one of those nice little reflections on what could have been kind of situations, and I think everyone can tap into that at some point in their life. So I think this is a universal message. And I always love the closing line of forgetting you, but not the time, because you kind of, over time, you lose a little bit of the details, but you remember how certain moments make you feel, and that's really what nostalgia is all about. So yeah, great picks.
Maxwell.
Yeah, so I love Panic at the Disco very much. They're one of my favorites. I almost put a Panic song on my list. I didn't make it. What I love about Panic is kind of like what Jen was saying is throughout their career, Brendan constantly reinvents himself. Like almost every album sounds different, but it still feels authentic to Brendan because I think his musical ability and tastes are so varied. Like started out very emo and pop punk, and then this is very like Beatles inspired, and their newer stuff is so theatrical with inspirations from like Queen and Bowie. Northern Downpour is a beautiful song. I loved seeing it on the list because I think it's not one of their more well-known songs, but Pretty Odd is such a great album. I love 9 in the Afternoon in particular. Queen, I mean, Who Wants to Live Forever is gorgeous. Freddie is maybe the greatest vocalist that ever, at least rock vocalist that ever lived. I am remiss because Smashing Pumpkins is a giant hole for me in my music acumen. I've heard very little of their music, but I really like the song, and I definitely plan to explore them a little more, especially the album that you all keep mentioning. Sounds like one I should just sit down
watch the music video to that song, Maxwell. You'll like it.
I will.
Watch the music video a lot.
Sit down with the hard seltzer and listen to the album. And then What's Her Name is interesting. So I think American Idiot is a masterpiece of an album, but the reality is, for me, the album is now the musical. I can't even listen to the Green Day version anymore because I saw it on Broadway like 12 times. And we talked about how it's such a great closing song for the album. Well, this also closed the show, and the way that they integrated the characters into it, it really is such a beautiful emotional climax to the story and all of the feelings. It's a gorgeous song, but I would just personally, just because of what it means to me and the connection I had, choose to listen to the musical version. But it's the same song. I mean, the songs Billy Joe wrote on this album are incredible, and I think really are generation defining for millennials, people my age. Like American Idiot was high school for me. This album like exemplifies the experiences, the emotions, the post 9/11, the George Bush era, the angst and the paranoia and the fear better than anything. And on that note, excuse me, I'm going to the restroom.
Can I say real quick on that note too, like that's one of the reasons that I've always loved American Idiot, and that album gets so much flack from a certain base of people, or at least it did when it came out, and I'm glad that we've kind of reevaluated it back to it actually being great versus, oh, they sold out and now we have to pretend it's good.
Yeah, I mean, that album changed my life. I mean, I always say, like, I'm in the weird limbo of years being born because, like, I'm not quite a 90s kid, but I'm also not, like, I'm definitely not, like, a typical Gen Zer. So I always say, like, I have the attitude of a millennial, but I was just born in 2003. So that album completely changed my life.
It's all good.
2003, you're so young.
Oh, yeah.
Don't change, Max. Don't change.
Tim,
Stay as long as you can.
what are your next 4 songs?
Okay. Let's get them up here.
Yeah, all good, but
I did a slight change in my list, and it doesn't affect the show at all. But I actually moved my 3 and my 4.
you're fine. Yeah,
I swapped them because I felt
How
like,
dare
oh, spoiler! Oh my god,
I didn't see anything.
it's fine, Tim. It's fine. It's straight
It's
enough.
fine. It's so small, no one can read it.
It's straight enough. Don't worry about it.
Tim, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can't push it any faster, Tim.
Okay.
2 hours later.
My first song. We're going to my hip hop rap side. So I am a big rap fan. I love Eminem. I love Tupac. I love Biggie. I love a lot of the early 90s stuff, Ice Cube, NWA. But I had to include a Tupac song, and this is my favorite Tupac song. I think the lyrics are so damn powerful in this song. I feel like it's a tribute to like his mom and like just overall just to like women who, you know, you make mistakes, but you know, your love and respect for them is more powerful than those mistakes, and you see through that. And I think the message is just incredible. And his mom was is an incredible person because I believe she's still alive, and she's a wonderful advocate. And I think this is just a great tribute track to her and just his. I mean, Tupac. I mean, he's one of the best. So I mean, there's nothing much to say about that. Next we have. Here's my punk side coming out. I had to throw some Bad Religion in here. So this is my favorite Bad Religion song. I think this song is super relevant when it came out in '93, I think it was. And then unfortunately, it's still relevant today. I feel like the message of the song carried over to the world we live in today. Basically, it's just a song kind of like about American hubris and the Christian nationalist, and just kind of like the whole idea of like of God and the lack of separation of church and state, and the America is better than all attitude. And I think Bad Religion is I mean, I have a whole playlist out there, and I've shared it with pretty much everyone in here. I have this giant playlist of like political punk rock that I've been listening to over the last year because of the election and now because everything that's going on now. But it's basically just like a fuck you to the government. But this song, I mean, I want to read like one of my favorite lines, like my favorite lyrics from the song. I mean, from the chorus, we've got the American Jesus, see him on the interstate. We've got the American Jesus. He helped build the president's estate. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, Greg Graffin. I mean, he's one of my favorite punk lyricists. He's a genius. He's literally has a PhD in evolutionary biology. And then, of course, the guitarist Brett Gurewitz is also incredible, like a founder in the punk, like the early '90s punk genre, because he went on to found Epitaph Records, which signed NoFX and Rancid and all these other bands. So, American Jesus, just great song, super great. Music video is great. Yeah, everything. I love it. Going on, we have God Only Knows by the Beach Boys. I mean, I just think this song is like one of the best songs. I mean, I think it's one of the best songs ever made, and I think a lot of people agree with. I think it's widely recognized as one of the best songs ever made. I'm pretty sure Paul McCartney like listed as his favorite song. And I know I took a history of rock and American pop music class way back when I was in undergrad, and I remember we came to a portion talking about this song, this like Pit Sounds, and this album, and the whole fact that like this album was kind of created out of like a rivalry with the Beatles. Like they were like upset. Brian Wilson was like obsessed with like outdoing the Beatles. And they like pretty much did it with this album because Pet Sounds is one of the best albums of all time. And then the Beatles came out with Sgt. Pepper's, and Brian Wilson kind of went a little crazy. But yeah, this song is beautiful. I mean, the instrumentation is incredible. It's not like any other like song they had ever done before, or any other pop song really ever done before. You have like the wall of sound inspiration. You had, I think there was like over 20 like studio musicians used because of all the different sounds you hear. And then Carl Wilson's vocals are incredible. They're kind of haunting, and there's kind of like debate about what the song's about, if it's about like a love or if it's about drugs. But I think everyone can kind of take their own interpretation of the song, as you can do with like any song. But yeah, I think it's a beautiful, beautiful song. And my final one is "Heck Yeah, Let's Groove" by Earth, Wind, and Fire. I mean, this song, I had to put a dance song on here. I mean, this song, I mean, what can I say? I mean, I just want to dance when this song comes on, and I just love everything about it. I think it's super catchy. It's the little like weird like synth voice track is like so interesting, and yeah, it just makes you want to get up and groove. I mean, there's not much else to say. It's great. I love Earth, Wind, and Fire, but this is probably my favorite Earth, Wind, and Fire song, just because of how catchy it is, even though it's not probably critically their best song. But I love it. I sure love it.
Yeah, Dear Mama the lyrics are phenomenal. It's towards his mom, and it's beautiful. God Only Knows it again. The Beach Boys have beautiful, beautiful harmonies, and I love their. And this is just I know we're eventually going to do a Beach Boys Survivor Island, and this is a big contender. I really dig. I dig the beat. Yeah, that's going to be stressful for future. American Jesus. Again, this actually, I don't know if I'm the only one who thinks this, but this actually sounds a little bit like it could be on American Idiot. Like this song has that kind of like really grungy kind of vibe to it that I really dig. It's really rebellious, and Spanish and Let's Groove. Mr. I went to. You did it. God damn it. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, Christophilus Clark.
Mr. Roboto. It gives me, the vocals give me Mr. Roboto vibes, what I have in my notes. Going away from me, Maxwell.
Take it away.
please.
Okay, so I was super happy to see Tupac on someone's list. Not only do I think there's a fair argument that he's the greatest rapper of all time, I think he is legitimately one of the greatest poets to ever live, because what is rap if not poetry, in my opinion? I think the lyrics frequently seen in rap can be up there with, Walt Whitman and stuff like that. And Dear Mama is such a beautiful song. Bad Religion's great. Tim was mentioning his Fuck the Government playlist, which, let's just say, I listened to quite a bit last Wednesday and felt like a very cathartic way to handle what was going on. So if Tim is willing, you should post that list or share it because it has some
I
amazing.
think PJ shared it in the past, but I can share it again.
Oh, okay.
I got it. I got you.
Bad Religion is one of the great punk bands of all time. This song is incredible. I'm going to skip God Only Knows and just go to Let's Groove. I mean, what can you say? It makes me want to get up and just fucking, like, you know, that movie Ex Machina, like, I'm going to tear up the fucking dance floor, bro. Like, that's what this song makes me think about. But look, God Only Knows, one of the greatest songs of all time. I think it was apt that you mentioned sort of like the Beach Boys self-rivalry with the Beatles, or at least trying to reach that level. But for me, this song makes me think of one thing. My favorite filmmaker in the world is Paul Thomas Anderson. I think God Only Knows and Boogie Nights is one of the great needle drops in the history of cinema.
So good.
It's just an incredible song. So I was happy, you know, again, Tim continues to impress with his multitudes and variety.
Jen, what are your thoughts on Tim's selection?
Yeah, similar to what Maxwell said, I think we only have 2 rap artists on our playlist overall. We're white. I'm sorry, but I'm glad that that we only have 2. That Tupac is the one that's here representing. This is a beautiful song. It's a beautiful tribute to his mother, and really just to Black women in general as being just this foundation of the American society that I think do not get enough credit. And this song, like, it kind of spawned off this trend within rap of giving little props to like women in general, and I think that's great. Like, particularly the mothers, it's like they just know that it's a pinnacle position in the community, and I think that's beautiful. So thank you, Tupac. American Jesus, yeah, this was a song, great protest song, like in direct correlation of I think it was a direct Bush quote for the Gulf War of like, we're gonna win because Jesus is on our side or something. So it's completely off of that, and it's as true today as it is back then, unfortunately. So yeah, fantastic punk song. God Only Knows, this would be my number 11. This is my favorite Beach Boys song, so I was so glad that someone got it up here. I think it's just a perfect song. It could be about drugs, but I like to view it as a love song, and I think it's just beautiful in that it has that contradictory nature to it of, I may not always love you, but at the same time, you're never going to need to doubt it. And it's just one of those nice encapsulations of like the uncertainty of the whole situation, but you want to throw yourself fully into it. So absolutely love it. And I will give a shout out, because we're movie people here. Go watch Love and Mercy. It's a fantastic movie. And that really gives you a little bit more of a background to this song, which is already perfect. So you should absolutely see it. And Let's Groove is fantastic. I'm so glad that this is here. I actually saw Earth, Wind, and Fire at the Hollywood Bowl last time I was in California, and it was a gigantic party, and it was amazing, and everyone was just dancing the entire time, and it literally was the 21st night of September. So yeah, it was absolutely phenomenal. So I absolutely love this song. Great picks.
Max.
Yeah. I mean, Tupac, before Sing Street, I never really listened to a lot of rap music, but a lot of the guys in the show with me are very avid rap music listeners, and they really turned me on to the genre, and now I love it. I like Tupac's kind of rap and like Notorious B.I.G. rap, like that kind of stuff. Like that's the kind of stuff that they showed me, and that's the stuff I really like latched onto. American Jesus, I love Bad Religion. I'm a punk. Well, I'm not a punk. I like listening to punk music.
Are you sure?
I mean, I painted my nails black 2 days ago, so
Been there.
yeah. Oh yeah. But I mean, Bad Religion is one of the greatest punk bands of all time. I think. I actually listened to the song today right after I found out that Trump got impeached, and I was like, thank God. So I'm very excited after that. I was actually in my voice lesson, and I just heard my mom go, woohoo! God Only Knows, the Beach Boys. I mean, thinking about the Beach Boys, I always like had this stereotype in my head of like, well, East Coast girls are hip. I really yeah. So hearing this song was another one of those Ozzy Osbourne, this dude's got shit to say things. It's just so amazing to me that artists can have such juxtaposition between their songs. And Let's Groove. I mean, there's not really much to say. I mean, literally, the feel of the song is in the title. So, yeah.
Yeah. Jen, I'm going to throw it over to you for your next 4. I don't think I missed anybody. Hopefully, so.
I think
Is
we're good.
that-
Yeah.
No, I didn't. But everyone covered it at this point.
Go ahead.
So,
I'll just him up. Go ahead.
I was gonna say all of them were very good
I'm
choices.
just gonna talk about Highlander again, anyways.
I can go,
Yeah,
motherfucker. I can leave. Dear Mama's great. It's one of the Tupac's best songs by so much. I just think it's so personal and beautiful. American Jesus is fantastic. God Only Knows is my favorite Beach Boys song. I deeply love the Beach Boys. So I was glad that any representation of them got on here, considering I felt awful leaving them off of my list. So we have that going for us. And then Let's Groove is just fun, man. It's just a dance song. What's not to like?
Go for it, Jen.
Okay.
Yeah,
here
just
we
like
go.
Max
So-
is doing. Look at him dance.
So just a reminder, we're coming back to me. These are my happy songs, not that's my favorite songs, but my happy songs. So yeah, so my next pick is actually, this is probably my least well-known song. I tried to go for things that people are going to recognize, but I couldn't help myself. I put one that really speaks to me, and it is my most recent song, and it is also the only female song on my list, which I feel really bad about. I'm not a really good woman. Here we go. Anyway, it's America's Sweetheart by Elle King, and she is a up and coming kind of artist, and she kind of has like a pop country, she's a little all over the place kind of thing. I usually don't go for country, but she had the hit single X's and O's, which I think a lot of people would recognize, using a lot of commercials and stuff like that. But from that, I picked out this album randomly, and this was one of those songs that just kind of spoke to me like instantly. It comes in like really strong with this like kick drum and just banjo. Like, I don't know what it is, but I love banjo. I don't know. It's weird. Apparently I live on the bayou or something. But yeah, it's a really fun song. It's like a really like double quick pace kind of song. And then she just hits the chorus and just starts belting out. And it's just one of those speaks to me as a woman kind of things of, I'm not going to be the person that you want to be, but hopefully you'll just accept me the way I am. So I love this song. It's a great album. I absolutely recommend the entire thing. It's the album itself is called Love Stuff. It's great. Anyway, so that's that pick. Moving on, I told you I was all over the place. Mac the Knife. This is the most crowd-friendly song about a serial killer ever. This is actually written for a German opera from 1928 called The Threepenny Opera, which I did see specifically because I love this song so much.
Mhm.
It's not very good. Don't bother, because it's the very opening song, so you can see it and leave. But yeah, it's this song is fantastic. It's been covered by pretty much every singer standard out there, but Bobby Darin holds a special place in my heart. There's just something about his voice that like just feels like a big warm hug to me. So I absolutely love this song. And yeah, we'll just keep moving because we are like really late here. Anyway, next one, I'm going to be 500 Miles. I would declare this the best karaoke song of all time, because no matter if you've heard the song before or not, by the end, you're going to be echoing back the da-da-da-das, and it's just fantastic.
The callback with the crowd is the best for the song.
It's the best callback in all of music history. It's just bouncy rhythm, beautiful harmonies, so much fun. I absolutely love this song. The Proclaimers are great. This is their big hit. They do have some other great stuff too, but this is the one that I like to think that everybody knows this song by now. And finally, I did say that this is my happy song playlist, but it wouldn't be a playlist from Jen if there wasn't a little bit of emo in there. So My Chemical Romance is here. And I'm not okay, but this song is because it does make me happy, because sometimes you just need to admit that you are not okay before you can move forward. And it's just very therapeutic to me. The pulsing guitars and the drums, everything's just moving too fast and out of control in life, but you just kind of go with it. And yeah, I love My Chemical Romance. And they have a lot of fantastic songs. It was hard to decide which one I wanted on the list. I knew they needed to be here, but this is one that I always go back to when I'm in a bad mood, and it just makes me feel better instantly. So
Yeah, I'm going to be quick. I am just going through my notes. For American Sweetheart, I felt like, so it is a banjo. I thought it was either a banjo or a 12-string, but it is a banjo, and I felt like the beat and it made you really want to dance. Mac the Knife has that really big band kind of jazz kind of vibe to it, too. I really, really like that. I didn't know it was part of, you said it was part of a musical? Or
it is part of a 1928 German opera.
Oh, Okay, that's news. Awesome. I'm gonna walk 500 miles is one of the catchiest things ever, and as you said, the callbacks are great. And that thing was stuck in my head to the end of time. And I'm not okay. My chem. This is just really rebel. It's in the vein of like teen. It's really, really like rebellion, and I really like the guitar riff and how like angsty it is. I do want to do it at some point a rebellion kind of survive. It would be great, but yeah, these are great
I
choices.
think it should be called "Fuck the Man."
Fuck the man
Let's
survivor.
be honest here.
Let's do this.
That needs to happen.
Somebody say Survivor Island.
Or playlist. We could do playlist too. Would figure it out. I'm gonna
Tim
throw
is tingling at the possibility of a Survivor.
PJ, what are your thoughts on these four?
I really love America's Sweetheart. I think this is such a good song. Something about banjos. I don't know what it is. It's just fun and it makes me happy. Mac the Knife is actually a song that I have always loved, and so when it was on the list, I was actually pleasantly surprised because it wasn't one I would have thought about putting on my list, but it was there, and I was listening to it a little bit earlier, and it's just like, man, the song is so good still. You could just I go walking a lot. I have a really nice lake that I go rock around, and that song comes on from time to time. It's so good. I'm gonna be 500 miles. All I think of is fucking How I Met Your Mother because of this song.
Yep.
And that's, I guess, a testament to the joke of it, but also how catchy the song really is, because the song is great. And that gag is never not funny to me every time they did it in the show. I'm Not Okay, I Promise is my favorite My Chem song of all time. I was so happy to see it on here. It is the most angsty teen song of all time, but it still, for whatever reason now, resonates with me. Maybe I'm still an angsty teenager. Jury's still out.
Aren't we all?
Really.
Deep down.
I love these choices.
Yeah, 100%. Tim.
America's Sweetheart. This is a song I had never heard before, and I absolutely love it. I think it's incredible. I'm not a big country fan either, so we'll say it's more folk. We'll say folk because I like folk music, and I'm gonna throw it in that area, in that bucket. But yeah, I love this song. Instantly in my rotation. I think it's incredible. Mac the Knife is just a great kind of classic vocal big band song. Interesting fact about that song: it actually took the #1 position away from one of my songs, "Sleepwalk" by Santo and Johnny.
Take that.
So in September, Santo and Johnny spent a couple weeks at the #1 spot in the U.S. charts, and then Mac the Knife came out and took it over. So there's that. And then I'm gonna be this song is incredible. I mean, it is 100%, like Jen said, my favorite song to sing at karaoke. If I'm doing karaoke, I have set songs, and this is for sure one of the set songs to sing. You have to do it after you've had some drinks, though, because of that callback and getting everyone involved. There's nothing better than getting everyone in the place involved in this song. It's so good. And then I'm Not Okay. I'm not I like My Chem. I'm not the biggest My Chem fan because they came out towards the end of I wasn't really a teen anymore. And but I do like this song, and I do like a lot of their songs, and I think Gerard Way is really talented.
Old man yells at class.
And a really cool guy because he's also a giant comic fan and works for DC. So I like that.
Maxwell.
Sure, you'll be surprised to hear that I love all four of these songs. Okay. So first of all, I hate "I'm Gonna Be" so much, and that's because I hear it and it's stuck in my head for a month.
Yeah. That's fair.
The term "earworm" was designed for this song, and it's obnoxious how catchy it is. I was so happy to see Mac the Knife. So first of all, I saw a production of the Three Penny Opera that the Roundabout Theater did in 2006 with Alan Cumming and Cyndi Lauper, and I actually thought it was pretty good. But I was just
when you saw a professional one, I saw a local theater. It was not.
Yeah. it's weird and hard material to do right. I was just so happy to see a classic crooner big band song. I tried to fit one in, and there's just only 10 slots is only so much, and Bobby Darin's voice is just beautiful and buttery. America's Sweetheart I had never heard before, and I fell in love with it. I love the banjo. I actually bought a banjo in April, and I've been slowly teaching myself how to play the banjo. It's very difficult. My fingers are on fire. But I think it's such a cool instrument. I would like to be Steve Martin one day. And I'm Not Okay. I love My Chem. I couldn't decide which song to put on, so I put none of them on. But yeah, this is like the epitome of teen angst in song form. It's so good.
Max.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'll go quickly. America's Sweetheart, I really liked. I don't know what it is about a fucking banjo, but I love it. Matt the Knife. I actually, after watching Tans to Vampire, I was like, maybe I should look at some more German theater. So I looked at a production of it, and then 2 days later, I got the playlist on Facebook, and I looked at it, and I was like, Matt the Knife, okay, cool. And I listened to it, and I love it. I love How I Met Your Mother so much, so hearing that, all I could think of was Marshall and Ted just in the car, and that's great. So My Chem is my favorite band of all time. I am actually wearing one of my 80s shirts right now. I was trying so hard to restrict myself to one song per artist, but I ended up having like 14 My Chem songs on my list, and I was like, I need to cut it down. So it was painstaking, and it took me like a day to do. I'm Not Okay was the third song I heard by them right after I was Welcome to the Black Parade, Famous Last Words. I'm Not Okay. And originally it wasn't one of my favorites because I was like, okay, I mean, I guess, and then my emo phase, which I'm still very much in. I am so
you should be as an 18-year-old.
Oh, I mean, I have the nails. I literally have. I have like I would erect a statue for Gerard Way. Like he is my idol of all. Oh my god! I mean, it's just like, I mean, and my favorite part of the song is at the end after the piano, and then I'm okay, and then the drum.
I'm okay now. Yeah.
The drum beat that Bob Breyer does in the repeat of the chorus at the end, and then Gerard just I'm not okay, I'm not fucking okay. It's so amazing. It's like okay, I will talk for hours about my
We're coming back to him later. Spoiler alert.
Are you finished, Max?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Cool. Okay, cool. So, guys, these are my four. Again, I want to emphasize that I didn't put the perimeters in as everybody else did. So,
shocker.
Yeah, I'm gonna explain these. Okay, so the first one is it's a song called "It Just Won't Quit" by Meatloaf. It's off Bad Outta Hell 2, which I think, for me personally, Bad Outta Hell 2 is the greatest album of all time. My favorite album of all time, and a lot of my favorite songs are from that, even though they're not. This is the only. There's two of them from here on the list. Damn it! But this song in particular has a great chorus. Is this a blessing? Is it a curse? Does it get any better? Does it get any worse? It's a 7-minute song about lust without ever saying the word or ever kind of dignifying what it truly is. People have thought it was cancer. People thought it was a sickness, a virus. No, this is a song about lust, sexy lust. And this is a very, very R-rated song. If you let this, everything Steinman writes, it's very, very R-rated. But again, it's epic, and it has that Steinman feel, and it's one of Beat's best. And his vocal, that's the song that taught me how to sing. I would sing along to this song religiously as a kid, and that's how I learned to sing, and probably why I kind of sound like I do when I do sing. My next song is Jesus of Suburbia, which is my favorite song off of American Idiot. It's my favorite Rebellion song. It's even, I mean, I should have put probably the musical version of this song on here because I kind of like how it's an ensemble piece on Broadway. But this is the Green Day version, and it's still phenomenal. It does have a word in it towards the end of the song that's problematic. But taking that out, it tells a story about just a group of kids rebelling against their elders, and it's just it's a 9-minute epic, and I like those kinds of things. The next one is my final Elton song on the list, and this is a song that probably not many people have heard because it's a deep cut off of The One. It's called The Last Song, and it tells the story of a man dying from AIDS, finally being visited by his father in the hospital, and then making amends. It's a very beautiful, touching song. The lyrics are very, very poignant. And AIDS is something that has hit Elton a lot. And it's something in the gay community that really shook them. And it's really, really powerful. And the last song really dignifies that. And Elton wrote this song to end his concerts with. And he doesn't end his concerts with this anymore because it's too emotional to sing, and it's one of his most emotionally lyrical. It's one of Bernie's most emotional lyrics, and one of Elton's most poignant musical compositions. And then the next one is the final track off of "Bat Out of Hell," which is "For Crying Out Loud," which is a 9-minute, basically piano and vocal about. It's my favorite love song of all time. For crying out loud, you know I love you. Meat's vocals are phenomenal on this thing, and going from the opening of "Bat Out of Hell" to just a 9-minute piano vocal with a bit of instrumentation in the middle is mind blowing. These are definitely my picks. I'm gonna throw it over to PJ. What are your thoughts on these 4 songs, bud?
Well, look.
Go for it.
You know, I like Meatloaf quite a bit. These are not my picks for my favorite Meatloaf songs, but I do like It Just Won't Quit. I think this song is really quite good, so I was glad to see that you had that on there. That is my favorite album of his, just period, is Bad Out of Hell too, so nicely done, sir. Jesus Suburbia.
Yeah.
Is a fucking bop, goddammit.
It's the only track on my list.
Yeah, it's a fucking bop. We're not gonna hear anything else. That song is great. The last song by Elton John, I love Elton John. Not a lot to say on that one. And then For Crying Out Loud is not my favorite Meatloaf song, my friend. I'm glad that you like it. It's a good song, but it's not one of my favorites.
Okay. I mean, it's a 9-minute piano vocal. It's only.
No, I know, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it's a Chris Clark special, and that's okay.
Tim, go for it, bud.
I like It Just Won't Quit a lot. It's I'm like not the big. I like Meatloaf, but I'm not a big Meatloaf fan. My dad was a big Meatloaf fan, so I remember him as a kid. I remember always like seeing the Bat Out of Hell 1 and 2 VHS or not cassette tapes and the vinyl, and I was like, man, this is so cool. I just thought it was like cool because of the art. But this song is quite good. And then Jesus of Suburbia is an excellent song. It's probably my second favorite song on the album. But yeah, it's great. The last song is, I never actually heard this song, but it's like super emotional. I got kind of emotional listening to it. I think it's really beautiful. For Crying Out Loud, yeah, it's really long.
It's very long. It's very long. Yeah,
it's good, but it's very long. It's not like
very long.
I mean, let's be real. I mean, Meatloaf, all of his stuff is very long, which I appreciate because it's very well done. But yeah. That's why. I mean, come on, I gotta get a good punk song. A minute 30, 2 minutes if you're pushing it.
Yeah, let's get some Misfits up in here. 2 minutes 30 seconds, in and out.
Yeah. Bullet would make my list, but yeah, I think it's a very Chris Clark list, and I appreciate it.
Max, what are your thoughts on these 4? I know it's a very me thing, but yeah, go for it.
I love Meatloaf so much. He's my favorite vocalist of all time. He's just so remarkable. So I agree with all your picks. I love It Just Won't Quit. The first big, like as soon as that song comes on, I have a whole playlist of songs that I listen to while I'm driving, and I turned the bass up all the way. I turned all the treble and the mids and all that shit up in my car radio. So then that first chord comes in, the whole car goes, and it's just the coolest thing. I love For Crying Out Loud. I know it's not everybody's favorite, but I'm a sucker for a good piano ballad, and Meat just executes it perfectly. Jesus of Suburbia, yeah, it's I'd agree, and I'd say it's like my second favorite on the album. My favorite part is surprisingly, it's actually the piano part at the end. I don't feel any shame. I won't apologize when there's nowhere you can go. I don't know why. It's just that part really resonates with me. Yeah. And then the last song, I love Elton John. My dad loves Elton John. That's how I really started listening to him. The last song is just, there's no words. There really aren't any words. But yeah, I mean, I know that there will probably be many more Meatloaf picks on your list, and I'm very excited because it was hard for me to pick mine, but Meatloaf is like, because I don't classify him as like one of my favorite bands because he's like a singular artist. So like I always say like he's my favorite artist, but My Chemical Romance is my favorite band. But yeah.
Yeah, Maxwell. Before, but
Okay. I
know.
I love Jesus of Suburbia. I already talked about American Idiot. Great song. The last song by Elton John, really underappreciated, underheard song by Elton John. It's beautiful. One thing became very clear to me in doing this exercise and listening to the playlist and various choices, and that is that I just don't like Meatloaf at all. He's just not for me. And that's all there is to it.
No, it's all good, bud. Jen.
Yeah, so we've been saying that Maxwell and I are on the same page. I won't go as far as to say that I don't like Meatloaf. It's just one of those things of I'm enjoying him while I'm listening, but I'm not going to seek him out on my own. So that's apparently what Chris Clark is here for. So he's always going to drag him out for me to listen to. For It Just Won't Quit, it's one of those like nice crowd swaying kind of songs, but it didn't really stick with me. Jesus of Suburbia, though, I love Jesus of Suburbia. That essentially is like an entire rock opera condensed into like 6 minutes of every single progression I love. I cannot pick a favorite. So yeah, that's a fantastic pick. The last song, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this was released like very close following Freddie Mercury's death. So it definitely has like a lot of power to it in that aspect. For crying out loud, I actually did enjoy this song, the opening of just the slow piano with the vocals. I found that enjoyable, but like it's been said, it's a very long song. I start to lose interest after a while. I got things to do, Meatloaf. I can't listen to every single song being this epic end the world power ballad. So I enjoy him to a point, and then I get bored and I move on. So yeah.
I mean, you guys are totally valid in those points, and he's not for everybody. Meat has always said his albums, you either love it or you hate it. There's no in between. And
I do not deny he's a talented man, and I absolutely love that you guys appreciate him as much as you do.
I mean, I also appreciate that you guys are open about not liking it, because you know what? It's just criticism. Music is subjective, and it's how it attaches to you. Mac, what are you next for? I'm at Maxwell. What are your next?
I just realized that the one you fixed for Panic at the Disco says Northern Downpour.
Oh my!
Oh, Chris Clark,
ladies and gentlemen.
That's the Paducah.
So, if Jen's most recent grouping was her happy songs, these are my sad songs. It's pretty much what it boils down to, and I think that'll be clear. In a second after I drag them. Okay.
It's gonna be great.
So this one, maybe the most sad song I've ever heard. It is a rumination on death. It makes me incredibly depressed, but I find solace and comfort in that. It's I Will Follow You Into the Dark by Death Cab for Cutie. I love Death Cab for Cutie. They're one of my favorite bands. And this song is really just Ben and his acoustic guitar. The lyrics are so powerful and so simple. Like, if heaven and hell decide that they both are satisfied, illuminate the nose on their vacancy signs. Like, these lyrics just speak to me on a very like poignant existential level. This song has gotten me through a lot of tough times. And I actually, when people are like, what do you listen to or what do you watch when you're down? And yes, sometimes you want to watch or listen to something joyous, but also sometimes when I'm down or depressed, like really wallowing in it with something sad makes me feel like I'm not alone in what I'm feeling or what I'm experiencing. And I think any Jewish New York American has an overwhelmingly neurotic fear of death. And so this song like exemplifies that to me, and it's just gorgeous. My next choice is That's What You Get by Paramore. I fucking love Paramore. Yep. So in 2008, I was living in Los Angeles working as a production intern for Jimmy Kimmel Live. And the cool thing about the set there is it's sort of like a standalone building on Hollywood and Highland attached to the El Capitan Theater. And it has a huge parking lot in the back with a giant stage where a good majority of the musical acts who played on the show would perform, which I think makes it probably the best venue on late night for musical acts to perform. And that's why a lot of times when artists would come, when they were done performing their song for the show, they would stay and play like a full set for the fans because they would pack the parking lot with fans who weren't in the theater, but just got to come and see the musical act. But when you worked on the show, you got to go to the sound checks of all the bands. And I didn't know Paramore before. And this was the first song they started playing. And from the second I heard this opening guitar hook, I knew that this was going to be a love affair with this band. It's a love affair that has continued on since 2008. I think they've just gotten better and better. They've evolved their sound. Haley released a solo album this year that's gorgeous. This song is just so fucking awesome and powerful. And it was sort of one of those things where I struggled to pick one Paramore song, but just because of this was like my introduction to the band and I love the guitar hook so much is why I went with it. My next song is Love Like This by Ben Rector, probably one of the least well-known songs that I think any of us put on our lists. I think this is just one of the most beautiful love songs I've ever heard. There's a certain melancholy to it, and it's really just Ben and his piano, and I think his piano playing and notes are beautiful. It's, not dissimilar from a Billy Joel or Elton John song, but I just find the lyrics so beautiful. It's like a storytelling song, and it just really inspires me. And then my last choice is from maybe my favorite musical artist of all time, and that's David Bowie. I picked Changes. I could have picked 100 different songs. I could have picked Queen Bitch or Life on Mars or Ziggy Stardust or whatever. But Changes, I just have vivid memories of listening to the song with my sisters when I was a kid, and it's so catchy. And I think it's such a great story about how current generations can sort of say fuck you to those who came before us for putting us in a bad place, which is something I resonate a lot to now with boomers. They've really fucked us.
Yeah.
But like the line, time may change me, but I can't trace time, is so succinct in its eloquence. But also for a song that's so thoughtful and poignant, it's also just catchy as hell. Mm-hmm. And at my wedding, the night before at the rehearsal dinner, when we did all the speeches, I didn't want speeches at the wedding because I was like, let's do it all the night before and get it done so I can not cry too much at my wedding. Two of my sisters, the ones who introduced me to the song, rewrote the lyrics of this song all about our relationship and everything we've experienced together. So for many reasons, this song holds a huge place in my heart.
That's beautiful. These are great choices, Max. Changes is one of Bowie's best. That's what you get. I said in my notes, a solid rock beat, rebellious jive. I will follow you. It's fantastic lyrics, and it's acoustic sound. Easily, it's actually one of my favorites on the playlist, and I like I especially like the line "Illuminate the nose on their vacancy signs." Mm-hmm. Yeah. The one I want to get to though is "Love Like This" because this is of all the new songs that I was introduced to on this playlist, this is my absolute favorite. And yeah, it does sound like a Billy and Elton song, and I guess it's not a coincidence why I like it so much. Yeah, it's beautiful. The lyrics are amazing, and the key change when he says a million things about is just amazing. It's just that song is just beautiful. I wish I could say I didn't like anything to get you back for your Meatloaf comment, but I can't.
It's good. God, Chris,
a big dick. PJ, go for
it. So I was very pleasantly surprised to see "I Will Follow You Into the Dark" on the list, and I texted Maxwell because I knew when it came on, I knew it was his. And
I'm a sad boy. I'm sorry.
But the funny thing is that I told you straight up afterwards, it was on my list of like 15 because I love this song, and for a second I thought I had like put it on and not realized it. And then I realized, no, it was part of your list. And it just goes to show, like, Maxwell and I very specifically have a link like that at times where we can be very sad.
That's my thing with Jen. Don't steal my thing with Jen. Thank you.
I said one thing. One singular thing. You and I can be sad together.
I've done all of his list here.
Fine. All right, that's fine. I've got Tim. Tim and I can get pizza. That's What You Get is one of my favorite Paramore songs. I think this song is great. I actually got to see this tour when the album came out. They played with Jimmy Eat World. It was awesome. This song is just so fantastic. Love Like This was another one that Maxwell had introduced me to previously that I just absolutely fell in love with. Maybe not at the right time when he originally showed it to me, but it was a song that I came to fall in love with eventually over time. And then Changes by David Bowie. There's not enough good things I can say about David Bowie. I think it's fair to say, spoiler alert, he's about to come up again. So,
cool. Tim, since you like to get pizza with PJ, I'll go next.
I love "I Will Follow You Into the Dark." It's my favorite Death Cab song, and I was obsessed with that album when it came out, and I was obsessed and still obsessed with the song. So I'm very happy to see it represented here. That's what you get, Paramore. I'm not gonna say I'm not a fan of Paramore. I just have never really listened to a lot of their stuff. But this song I had heard before, and this is like one of the songs I've heard. This is like my favorite song, so I'm glad it's here. I think they're. I need to listen to them more because I think they're incredible, and I think she's a great, great vocalist.
So good.
Love Like This. I feel like I've heard this song before, but I don't know where. I was trying to figure it out, but I think this song is beautiful and it
does sound
incredible. But I swear I've heard it before, but I just couldn't figure it out. But I love it. And David Bowie, I mean, he's one of the greatest. I mean, Changes is an incredible song, and I mean, yeah, there's not much else to say. It's Bowie. He's a legend. He's the Goblin King. So
He sure is.
Jen.
Yay. Once again, I love everything that Maxwell picked. The only reason I didn't have Death Cab was because I was going for my happy vibe. There's definitely a sad Jen under here today. But yeah, I absolutely love this song. It is a beautiful, beautiful song. Like Death Cab across the board, for all of their songs, they're just geniuses. As I'm a former English literature major, so I'm big on the linguistics, and the way that they use their lyrics, like the combination of their alliteration and assonance, like they go off the beaten path and do things that you don't expect to come through, and it's just the beautiful imagery every time. So I absolutely love this song, and it's a great music video out there too. It's like an ethereal kind of situation that I would definitely recommend checking out. Paramore, I am here for Hayley Williams' pop punk supremacy. She's the queen. I absolutely love this song. It is catchy as hell. So I think that covers that pretty good. Ben Rector, this was the only song that I was unfamiliar with, and like everyone else, I instantly fell in love with it. It's a beautiful love ballad, the simple piano and the strings, and his voice is just so crystal clear. It's absolutely beautiful. So this was an instant like to my other playlist. So thank you for that. And Changes, David Bowie is a god. I absolutely love him. It was really hard trying to decide what goes on the list here. If we keep doing this, he will probably show up every time on my playlist. So that definitely means that he will be showing up a little bit later today. But yeah, Changes is a beautiful song. Like Maxwell said, it's a great acknowledgement of letting go of the past and letting the new generation kind of break through. And I always love the line of they're immune to your consultation. They're quite aware of what they're going through. Let them figure it out for themselves. Don't hold us back. So fantastic pick once again, Maxwell.
Well, that's great. Max.
Yeah. I mean, I Will Follow You Into the Dark is one of my favorite songs of all time. I first listened to the song about 2 years ago when I was going through some stuff. And, the lyrics in the lyrical structure of this song is something to be idolized. It's a masterpiece of lyric writing. It's I can't help but think about Sing Street when it's in Catholic school, as vicious as Roman rule. I had my knuckles bruised by a lady in black. It was, just the imagery they have in that song is incredible. And yeah, much like Maxwell, I think that the best, what I like to do when I'm in a sad mood is I give into it, and I am like, okay, so I'm sad. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm not. So I'll flood myself with my emo playlists and watch a sad movie, and then it helps me not feel alone, because I think the most dangerous thing is to feel alone in those moments of sadness. So I listen to those kinds of songs a lot. Paramore, Hayley Williams is a fucking queen. That's all I have to say about that. Love Like This, that I was not familiar with that song, and now it is in my Spotify playlist. It is incredible, and it reminded me a lot of the Elton John song.
It does.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah. Changes is my favorite David Bowie song, and I feel awful that I do not have him on my list. He's one of my favorite artists of all time, and I think that his contributions not only to the music industry and the music world, but also to the world of just being yourself and rebellion and youthful energy is cannot be overlooked, and it's absolutely amazing. So yeah.
Yeah. PJ, your final three, and then make it dramatic for your last one. I don't know how you could do it.
So similarly to Tim, I actually did move one. Like I flipped two songs real quick. It doesn't affect you guys, but you know, I unfortunately didn't think about not having a Beatles song, and I don't mean unfortunately. Like the Beatles need to be on here. Let's be real, but also we did a whole thing about the Beatles. But my favorite song by the Beatles is still "Yesterday." This song just is so melancholy and beautiful, and it is always. I've always loved it ever since I was young. Even like it didn't matter how many times I listened to any of the albums, whether it was like a greatest hits or the album it was on. Like, I just love it. This song is to me like it encapsulates everything that the Beatles are. Which it's funny that then they made a movie called Yesterday that also felt the need to use the title because again it encapsulates everything that the Beatles are. With the sci-fi tinge. If you haven't seen that movie, you should check it out. My number two, though, is by the great Bob Marley, and that is Three Little Birds. If you've ever seen I Am Legend, you'll know that that song plays a part in the movie, and it's fucking heartbreaking in a lot of ways. But this song is a song that every time I put it on, I feel cheery and wonderful, and I don't know, man. There's something about this song in particular that has always just in my mind stood out. It doesn't matter how many times I put it on. I can like flash back to high school, remembering walking around campus, having this song on like particularly bad days, and it would pick you up. Like it didn't matter how badly I failed the test because it happens. The song picked you up in the end. Mm-hmm. My number one song of all time is by the great David Bowie. This was always going to be my number one. This is my favorite song of all time. This is a song that Maxwell had assured me if I died before him, he would make sure was played at my funeral. It's a conversation we actually had together, and it is Life on Mars. This is, to me, the greatest song of all time. I think that it's literally, you can do anything with this song. It fits any circumstance, it fits any mood, enough that when they did Watchmen last year, I guess, a year and a half ago now, however long ago it was.
2 years.
A year and a month
ago, technically. Yeah.
So when they did, there was an episode where they did an all instrumental version of this song that was so fucking amazing, and I lost my mind while they were playing it, and this song has always meant something to me. I just get so caught up in it, and weirdly enough, like similar to the Yesterday thing, like part of it, there is a TV show called Life on Mars that aired in Britain that is really excellent and uses the song.
Do not watch the American remake.
No, do not watch the American remake, but the 2-season show on BBC was fantastic. But this song, man, oh my god, I could listen to it forever. Anytime it comes on, you could be sad and listen to it and you'll feel sad, but you can feel happy listening to it and feel like it is a Swiss Army song. That is what I call it from here on out. It is a Swiss Army song. Those are my last three, guys.
Those are phenomenal picks, PJ. I'm gonna do number one. Every Little Thing Is Gonna Be All Right is a really uplifting and will bring anybody out of a sour mood, and it's just great. Yesterday, even when we did the Beatles Survive, it's one of the best songs ever, and just I think it's one of their most perfect compositions, and I don't know how Paul and John really could make so much quality from their back work. Life on Mars is one of Bowie's best, and I love the lyrics. It name checks Mickey Mouse and name checks a lot of stuff in the media and big business, and it's a great commentary on that. And I would assume it's probably Bowie's kind of not really liking the bigger guy and just wanting to be his own. It's
his fuck the man song for a lot of reasons.
It is, and I think it's just beautiful. Jen, what are your thoughts on PJ's top three?
I absolutely love these songs. Yesterday PJ didn't get the memo that we weren't putting Beatles songs up there, so I'm glad he didn't, because that means that we have a Beatles representation here, because we'd be a bunch of fucking liars if we didn't put them on there somewhere. Yesterday is a beautiful song. It's a universal message. Everyone at some point has reflected on the what could have been kind of situation beforehand. And yeah, it's very simple, but it's just absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, absolutely love that song. Three Little Birds, this is like the ultimate relaxation therapy song. Like you put it on, it's very simple and repetitive, but that actually allows you to like just kind of fall into it and just kind of vibe to it and just start to feel a little bit better about life. So I absolutely love it. And just the message of if you take time to slow down, relax, everything's just going to be fine and it's going to work out. And that I Am Legend scene is brutal. So yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's another point for optimism in 2021. This is a fantastic song for that. Life on Mars, the only reason it's not on my list is because I knew PJ was going to put it on his list. So yeah, I cheated a little bit on that. This is an absolutely fantastic song. I love it. The first time I heard it, I was like, can you not speak so loud, David? Because it felt so much that he's just talking about me, girl with the mousy hair, friends nowhere to be seen, hooked to the silver screen. We don't need to talk so loud. But yeah, it's just a beautiful song. The meaning changes every time you hear it. Swiss Army song is a fantastic term for it. But yeah, I've grown to appreciate him actually singing it later in his career more than the actual single itself, just because it carries even more weight as time and knowledge and wisdom has hit him more. And I think his voice has changed also through the years, and it just has a little bit more weight to it now. And yeah, it's an absolutely beautiful song. It can mean so many things. Fantastic, PJ.
Max.
Yeah, I think that these are easily in my top, 30 songs. These top three of PJ's. Yesterday is I think it is the best written song of all time. I think, Paul McCartney is a lyrical genius, and, the Beatles as a whole are musical geniuses. I still remember how Paul McCartney wrote the melody with scrambled eggs. Oh, my darling, how I love your legs, but not as much as I love scrambled eggs. Oh, let's go eat some scrambled eggs. So then I every time I hear that, I just can't stop thinking about that. And then Three Little Birds, I think as soon as I hear this song, I really do just think like, I just like feel like a weight off my shoulders, and I can like sit back a little more in my chair and just relax. Life on Mars is a fucking masterpiece. I think that it's my number 2 choice of Bowie's after Changes. So I actually had to correct one of my friends because they were singing along with me. In the line, "'Cause Lennon's on sale again," they were singing, "'Cause lemons are on sale again." And I was like, what did you just say? And they were like, "'Cause lemons on sale again." I was like, no!
No, God, no.
His third lyric.
It was so bad. And they were like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry." I was like, yeah, you should be. And it was 2 days after Bowie died, too. I was like, I was filled with rage. But I think that these are incredible songs, and they are very well deserving of those high positions.
Tim.
Incredible 3 songs here. Yesterday's was one of my top Beatles songs, and I love this song. It's so good. Three Little Birds, I'm a giant reggae fan. I love reggae, and that means more than Bob Marley. There is more than Bob Marley. I mean, Bob Marley is the best, but he's not my favorite reggae. My favorite reggae is Steel Pulse. Shout out to Steel Pulse. But anyways, I do love Bob Marley, and I do love this song. If you want to explore reggae, I have a great reggae playlist, so hit me up.
He does. It's excellent.
Reggae, dance hall, roots reggae, we got all that in there. And Life on Mars, I think it's the best Bowie song. I mean, it's incredible. Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say about it. It's beautiful, and yeah, it's a masterpiece.
I'm going to bookend this with Maxwell. Maxwell, what are your thoughts on these 3 songs?
We spent hours talking about the Beatles. They're great.
Yeah.
Three Little Birds. This is where I admit that I'm not sure until this playlist that I actually realized that was the title of the song. I've heard the song millions of times. It is as uplifting and joyous as songs get. No matter how bad of a mood you're in, it snaps you out of it. And Bob Marley is one of the greats. And then Life on Mars, I mean, I already sung the praises of David Bowie. This is one of the ones I considered. I had a feeling PJ was going to pick it. specifically because of the conversation we had where if he dies first, I have to ensure it's played at his funeral. That's a big burden to put on me. But I guess we'll see in 6 or 7 years which one of us goes first.
You're both going to live forever. You're fine.
Well, but here's the thing, Jen. There can be only one.
I mean, who wants to
God
live
damn it,
forever?
Maxwell.
But yeah, PJ, rounded out his list nicely. It's a very PJ list, as all of these lists are truly indicative of each individual's eclectic tastes.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, I'm gonna throw it over to you, Max. What are your 3, and then make it dramatic for the last one.
All right.
You say that every time, Chris, and I don't know how dramatic we can make the last reveal other than, hey, this is our last song.
I'm going to get like a curtain to mine and be like...
Just you wait, PJ.
Okay, I'm excited. Do I need that?
I am. So my number 3 goes to Bat Out of Hell.
There it is.
Yeah. And then 2 goes to Love It If We Made It by the 1975. And for my final song, I hope it's dramatic enough. It goes to The Kids from Yesterday by My Chemical Romance. So Bat Out of Hell is not only one of my favorite albums of all time, but also my favorite show. I followed the show all around the globe. I went to Canada. I went to the UK. I saw it here in New York. It's my favorite show of all time. And it only reaffirmed my love for Meatloaf. And Bat Out of Hell, I think it's starting right after the slow the sinner before the gates of heaven, I'll come crawling on back to you.
And then the reverse guitar that Todd Rundgren did is amazing.
Oh
yeah.
And then, but my favorite part is and I never seen the sun in curve till it's way too late.
Yep.
It's so it's such a masterpiece, and I've been trying to hit those high C's forever.
One of the hardest songs ever to sing.
Yeah. And I'm finally there. I just hit a C today with my voice teacher, and I was so happy. So number 2, Love It If We Made It by the 1975. I love this song so much. I think Matty Healy's voice in this is so phenomenal. This song is such a fuck you to the world. And, I was actually reading an article about this song, or I was watching a video on the lyrics, and Matty Healy was doing an interview, and he said that they basically collected tabloid newspapers for a year to get the lyrics to this song. And I think I actually have some of the lyrics written down just based on the events that have transpired over the past few days. The last verse of the song is actually about Trump and Trump's presidency and its catastrophic effects to the world. So it starts with, I moved on her like a bitch, excited to be indicted, unrequited house with 7 pools. Thank you, Kanye, very cool. The war has been incited, and guess what? You're all invited, and you're famous. Modernity has failed us. I'd love it if we made it. And I think that those lyrics are really profound because, and Matty Healy's voice when he sings, I moved on her like a bitch, excited. It's just so fucking incredible. And just the general theme of the song is just so like flashing middle fingers to society, be whoever the fuck you want to be, and let's all just get through it together. And I'd love it if we made it. And then number 1, The Kids from Yesterday. So this is my favorite My Chemical Romance song, and I put this one on as sort of the spearhead for the band as a whole. So if I could, I would have put My Chemical Romance entire discography in my number 1 spot. And The Kids from Yesterday, it holds a very special place in my heart because much like how I Will Follow You Into the Dark got Maxwell through some tough times, this song has gotten me through a lot. I actually have one of the lyrics like right on my wall back there, which is, you only live forever in the lights you make. When we were young, we used to say that you only hear the music when your heart begins to break. Now we are the kids from yesterday. And this is one of the last songs they ever wrote as a band, and it's sort of about how growing up is okay and how being okay is not okay. And it's sort of Gerard's, goodbye to youth and everything. And it's just so beautiful. So it's just, I just love this song so much, and it's gotten me through so much, and it's, yeah.
Yeah, love it if we made it. Yeah, it makes me want to actually explore this 1975. I do. I think the hook got stuck in my head. Bad is amazing. Bad is essentially an 8-minute song about a motorcycle accident and him going to yeah. And the show itself, I have my problems with it, but I mean the music is phenomenal. The performances are great. It just for me the musical itself could have been a little bit more than it was for me, but I mean the song itself, you can't go wrong with that. It's one of the greatest opening numbers in classic rock. That
100%.
the 2-minute instrumental at the beginning is phenomenal. Bad Overture. But my kids from yesterday, since this is your number one, the lyrics are very. In my notes say the lyrics are very rebellious. Meshed with a very uplifting instrumentation. So the juxtaposition there with what the saying and what the music is a very interesting juxtaposition, and I really, really liked it. And the lyrics were great. And My Chem is just a phenomenal through and through. Great choices, Max. Maxwell, what are your thoughts on these three?
Okay, I love the 1975. I was really happy to see him on the list. This is a great song. Their discography is definitely worth exploring. They put out some really incredible stuff. I love My Chem. I think this is a really cool choice from their, I guess you'd say, final album, at least so far. I sort of feel like since they were doing a reunion tour that maybe they were going to have more music on the horizon. We'll see.
Yeah, I think they are. I think there's rumors. I'm on like all the fan pages and stuff, and apparently they've been writing stuff, so I'm freaking out.
And I had tickets to see them in September that obviously didn't happen because of.
Yeah, me too. I was going to
say insert Justin Bartha gift here.
But I hope it gets rescheduled. I made my thoughts on Meatloaf known. I would also add I went to see Bat Outta Hell when it was in New York, and I left at intermission.
Yeah, I mean, in defense of Bat the musical, the book is atrocious, but that's what I love about it.
Yeah,
but they changed it so much. It was a completely show.
It was a different show back when it was in Canada, I think, right? Or back.
It was.
Yeah,
so it was altered. So the original London production I saw in like 2018 with my dad, and I'm friends with Andrew and Christina, who are the two leads in the show, and they're incredible and amazing and literally the nicest people. Andrew actually lives like 20 minutes from me in Bucks County, which is crazy.
Oh, cool.
But they changed it so much from the London production that my dad and I left feeling like a little disappointed. We were like, well, what happened to this awesome show that like we saw? I've seen it 6 times. So I was like, I saw it twice in London, once in Canada, and then 3 times in New York.
I heard about the modifications and stuff. We're not going to get all into it. We're going to probably do Bat the musical at some point for Suddenly Soundtracks, and we'll get into what happened to it. But there's a whole story about what happened and why it was such a cluster at the end of it. There's a whole story with it.
Yeah.
That was Max. PJ, what are your thoughts on Max's?
I mean, look, it's a really, really strong kind of finale. Bat Outta Hell is arguably like maybe one of the top Meatloaf songs of all time. Like, I know we've all kind of been a little hard on the Loaf, but this song in particular is one that I've always loved. One of my friends in middle school and high school loved it. He loved Meatloaf as much as you guys love Meatloaf, so I was around it a lot, and this song in particular and this album would come up a lot, so nice pick there, Max. Love It If We Make It. I had never heard this song. It was so good. The story you just told about it made it so much more interesting. I hadn't even known anything about that and made it really stand out to me. So I really fell in love with this. I'm going to have to deep dive into this band because I don't know anything about them really.
Yeah.
And then Kids from Yesterday. Again, I love My Chem. My favorite My Chem song already came up. This song is also very good though, and it just reminds me how much I really love the band and how badly I want to hear new music from them because I got to see them with Linkin Park actually back during the Project Revolution tour. Like, they're incredible. That was during the Black Parade years.
I'm so jealous.
I saw them tour with Muse, which was like the greatest 1-2 punch on the Black Parade tour.
Yeah.
The Black Parade tour, my God. Like, so I don't know if you guys ever saw footage or anything, but, an announcer would come out and be like, we're so sorry. Unfortunately, My Chemical Romance couldn't make it today. Instead, we have the Black Parade.
Yeah.
I was actually on the Hot Topic website last night deciding which more My Chem stuff to buy. I was like, oh, they have My Chem shoes?
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm a 33-year-old man. Can I wear My Chemical? Yes, I can. I
Yes,
can wear
you
whatever
can,
I
Maxwell.
want.
Yes, you can. And
Damn right,
I'll
you
say,
can.
I'll say this, like similarly to you, because it was still the Black Parade tour when I saw them. It was their version on Project Rev, and I got to see it when it was Linkin Park when they had done Minutes to Midnight. So that like it was a 1-2 punch having them back to back, where it was like these are two of the greatest bands of our generation, and seeing Chester and seeing all of them, like, dude, are you kidding me? So yes, Maxwell, Max, this is a great song.
One of my dreams is to do to the Black Parade what was done with American Idiot.
Me
Yes,
too,
me
Maxwell.
too.
I'll be first in line for tickets for that.
Maxwell, you and I definitely need to collaborate on that because I've been wanting.
And we need to work with Preston Max Allen as our other collaborator.
Yes, please. I will. That's yeah. But PJ, if you want to listen to a really good 1975 song, listen to Robbers. That's my second favorite.
Okay, I'll
EJ, you'll love the 1975. They're a great band.
They're really fucking.
Okay. I'm super excited. I can't wait.
Tim.
Yeah, so I actually hadn't heard the top two songs before. So like I said, I haven't listened to a lot of My Chem. Most of my My Chem I've listened to is the Black Parade, which I do enjoy a lot. But I do need to open up and explore more of their stuff, and I do like this song a lot. And in 1975, I echo what PJ said. Like I had never heard it either, and I think it's super. I really really liked it, and I definitely want to explore more of their stuff. I really like this like electro kind of like rock like sound that came out in like the 2000s. So I definitely want to explore them. And then Meatloaf, I mean, I was, kind of poo-pooing a little bit on Chris's Meatloaf picks, but it's cliche, but I freaking love Bat Out of Hell, man. I mean, Bat Out of Hell is the song that I love for Meatloaf. I love the super fast like piano that's going on in there, and his voice just kills it in this song. And yeah, I mean, this song is great. This is my favorite Meatloaf song. And when I think of Meatloaf, I think of this song, and I love it. And it had been a few years since I heard it. So I'm really glad that it was on the list, and I got to like listen to it again. And it reminded me I need to like keep it in a rotation somewhere to listen to it because I do like it a lot.
It's the length of Freebird. It's long.
It is long, but I like it.
It's great, and the great big guitar. Jen, go for it.
Yeah, Bat Out of Hell. It's been said before. I love the insane piano opening of the 2 minutes of just pure instrumental. Love that, and then I fall into the same theme of I lose interest a little bit, but love that opening. Yes, similar. Apparently, Max came in and he's teaching us all these new things. Thank you, little whippersnapper. You, 1975. I wasn't familiar with this at all, so I absolutely love this song. And yeah, like you were saying, my favorite lyrics earlier. The modernity has failed us of just this laundry list of everything that's wrong with society right now, but I'd love it if we made it. So it's a nice little, like, tiny bit of optimism, even though it's quite aware all the chaos that's going on right now. So it was an instant move it over to my other playlist kind of thing. So yeah, I'm absolutely going to go look at 1975 now. For Kids from Yesterday, I'm old. I tend to skew more towards their early stuff, but I do absolutely love this song. The opening chords of this actually do remind me of Heroes from David Bowie, honestly. Yeah. I don't know if I'm alone in that, but yeah, I do. The quote you said that's on your wall, one of my favorite lines for the song. And yeah, it's just a beautiful reflection from a band that is known for being like these rebellious teenagers and having to grow up a little bit. So it is a little bit of melancholy in there, but they still have their punk roots in there, damn it. So yeah, this is a great song, great pick. And yeah, it's great.
Cool. And did I miss anybody? Just let me know if I did or not before I go to Tim for the next one. Tim, what are your next three?
My next three, and my first one with some dramatic flair. Is that the instructions? Okay, we will do that.
Be dramatic. I want some like magic fingers and stuff.
Oh.
Like no.
Magic fingers you will get.
Okay.
Oh, that sounded bad.
That sounded really bad.
That sounded pretty bad.
We've been going for 3 hours. My mind is slipping. Okay. Number 3 on my list is my favorite band of all time, The Clash, Spanish Bombs, from my favorite album of all time, which is London Calling. Yeah, I think this song is super super. I love like the guitar throughout the song. It's very simple. I love the chorus, which which uses some Spanish, is super super like catchy. And then I just think the message overall is really good. It's kind of like influenced. It was influenced. Joe Strummer was influenced by it while riding in a car and listening to like reports of ETA bombings in Spain. And then he kind of associates that with like the current what was going on with the IRA in the UK at the time, and then also kind of like echoing back to the Spanish Revolution and the era of like Franco Spain. Not related to me, thank God. But yeah, I just think this song is super super. I mean, it's great. It's just kind of like the epitome of the Clash. You know, it's like they're categorized as a punk band, but I think of them as so much more than a punk band because they just like they cover so many like genres from like ska to reggae to rock, everything. I mean, they were so influential, and this song I think is a great highlight of that. Moving on to my number two. My number two is "Learning to Fly" by Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd is probably my second favorite band of all time. I absolutely love them, and I tend to skew more David Gilmour with my Floyd, which is why I love this song particularly, because this song is from A Momentary Lapse of Reason, which was their first album that they did after Roger Waters left the band. And so this is kind of like David Gilmour's real time to like take off on his own in a sense and lead the band. And this song was kind of influenced by that, as well as his love of flying. But I just love the guitar throughout the song. And I mean, David Gilmour solo, he's my favorite guitarist of all time. I mean, his solos are incredible and so emotional, and like they really just transport you to another place. So I really feel like I am flying when I listen to this song.
Would you say he was learning to fly while he was getting the band together?
I think he was already flying on some LSD and everything else. So Pink Floyd is one of the bands that like if I could go back in time, I would see, because
Me too.
like my dad saw them, and like I've seen like all their like live, like a lot of their live stuff, like with Pulse and stuff, and like I mean their concerts are absolutely insane with like what they use in terms of like of the lights and lasers and whatnot. All right, so my number one with some dramatic flair. Our number one song, which is probably not, I don't know, I think it's kind of like unexpected, but it is "Heart of Gold" by Neil Young. I don't know. I just think this song is like super, super intimate, and I just love. It's just very simple with like his voice, the harmonica, and an acoustic guitar, and I just think it's incredibly beautiful. And there's like specifically like live performances of it I find really, really moving. And I don't know. I think it's super like it's super singable, but also just being incredibly, incredibly emotional and like moving to me. So yeah, those are my top three right there.
Yeah, Heart of Gold, that harmonica is great, and it's just an absolute classic. Learning to Fly, there's very powerful lyrics and instrumentation. One of my favorites being Fatal Attraction is holding me fast. How can I escape this irresistible? It's just the lyrics are really good. And Let's Groove, I'm not Let's Groove. It's in the wrong order. Spanish Bombs is that. Since he flipped it, I was going to. I have this in a Word document, guys. I'm just going off my notes.
So do I, but I adjust as I go.
But Spanish Bombs is just super catchy, and Spanish Bombs are. It's just. Yeah, it's just
Exactly,
Chris.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm going to throw it over to Jen to cover my ass. Hey, Jen. Last three songs of Tim.
No, these are great picks. I'm so glad the Clash is here. I really wanted to put it on my list. I probably wouldn't have picked this particular song, but it is definitely catchy as hell. And yeah, it's another one of those just perfect little punk songs that is just great to listen to. Super catchy. And similarly, I am so glad Pink Floyd is here, because I realized right after I submitted, I was like, oh, shit, I really should have had one on, so I missed it. So thank you, Tim, for picking up the slack there. I love this song, just the spacey quality of it, just the echoing, ethereal nature of it. It's a fantastic song. And Heart of Gold, yeah, it's similar to Chris. I love me a good harmonica, and this is one of the best situations for that. It's just a beautiful ballad, and yeah, the harmonica solos just make you feel happy. So these are fantastic picks to round out Tim's list.
Yep. Maxwell.
Yeah, I love all these songs. I love The Clash. Spanish Bombs was a bit of a surprising choice, but I'm here for it. I like Pink Floyd a lot. Learning to Fly, I agree. It's sort of like ethereal and hypnotizing, and it sort of just lifts you up to another plane, and you really feel like every element of it. And then Heart of Gold, I mean, it's so beautiful, and it really is all about the harmonica. It has such like a great folk feel to it. I want to like sit on a back porch with a cold glass of iced tea and listen to this song.
Cool. Max.
Yeah. I'm going to keep my comments brief because I'm pretty sure the same word applies to all of these. 2 words, which is fucking amazing.
Right.
I mean, Spanish Bombs is a classic. I remember hearing that song for the first time and losing my mind, and that's the song that got me into The Clash. Pink Floyd, my mom introduced me to. The first song I heard by them was "Wish You Were Here," of course, which is I like to call it it's like the marijuana of Pink Floyd. It's like the gateway drug. And then Heart of Gold is just like it's classic, and I love it. So yeah.
All right. Jen. I didn't miss anybody, I don't think. Jen.
I don't think so. Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah, final 3, and when you get to your last one, do it on music.
All right. So my number 3. Here we go. If I did it correctly, oh my God, click. There we go. Okay, my number 3 is "Come On Eileen." This is one of my favorite pop songs of all time. Honestly, if I was being true to myself of favorite songs, 80s pop would be a lot of it. But this is just one of those fantastic, pure joy songs. It's got banjos, it's got fiddles, piano, key changes, horns, tempo changes. It's just pure, unbridled, chaotic joy. And I just love like the bridge, the building that's from the slow claps and everything to this just frenetic energy by the end. And anything that reminds me of Tommy Boy is always a good thing. Yeah. But also, if you ever want to laugh, a solid belly laugh, go to YouTube and look up this song, "Come On Eileen" live, because there is this recording. I don't know where they were, but the lead singer is either drunk, high, or sick, or all 3. But it's freaking amazing, and it's beautiful. And go read the comments. It is fantastic. So yeah, that's "Come On Eileen." My number 2, so fun factoid about me, in college you have to do a capstone seminar at some point, and even though I was a literature philosophy major, there were none at the time, and I was panicking, and I really needed to fill up my schedule. So I took a capstone seminar on Stevie Wonder. I absolutely love Stevie Wonder from that class. It is just one of those pure joy singer-songwriters, and this song in particular, I came really close to, like, he has a ton. It's really hard to pick. I really love Fingertips, which is like his first hit on the scene of when he was just a little bitty baby, and he just wasn't dragged off the stage at the right time because he's blind, guys, and he just kind of kept riffing, and the band comes back in and everything. But Uptight was really his last chance to really break through. So they were thinking of dropping him, and then they put out this song, and it is an absolute bop. It just makes me feel good, and it's his first co-written hit. I think that has a lot to do with it, and it's his first Grammy nomination. It saved his career. So from this song, we got a whole lot of other stuff that is just classic. But yeah, I just love like the blasting horns and this drum energy that comes from it, and it's just one of those beautiful messages of, if you find that certain someone, then it just makes you feel special, then nothing else matters in the world and everything's okay. So I absolutely love that song. Stevie Wonder is a genius. And number 1, I mentioned David Bowie before, so obviously he needs to be here, but there's also another rock icon that I haven't mentioned before. Other people have, so I figured why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone with the only song that I knew for sure was on my list, and that is Under Pressure. I absolutely love this song. It is fantastic. It speaks to everyone. We're all in this together. We are all under a humongous amount of pressure right now. And yeah, just that opening bass riff, like, it is a beautiful thing. It's the 2 best rock vocalists going at it. And yeah, I always get chills. I can't actually, I love this song. It's my favorite song. I can't actually sing it live because every time I get to "This Is Our Last Dance," I start to cry because it's just one of those things of like, this is all you got. You got one shot, and it's just, you got to try as hard as you can. So I absolutely love this song. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say Stevie Wonder's "Uptight's" great. "Uptight Out of Sight," it's really really good. But "Come On Eileen," yes, you guys know it from Tommy Boy. It's also was my fourth grade teacher's favorite song, and he would like play it all the time because he would always come into class wearing suspenders, and he would just literally before each math class he would play the song. And that's just stuck in my head. It's a weird anecdote. It didn't really go anywhere. That story didn't go anywhere. But "Under Pressure," yes, this is one of the best duets ever in rock. And Freddie and Bowie really mesh. And the bass line is so iconic, and yes, that last part where they really harmonizing with each other is amazing. PJ, what are your thoughts on these three?
Look, these are three really fantastic picks out the gate. "Come On Eileen" is one of the great 80s songs. "Take Me Home Tonight" actually also used that song really, really well. If you haven't seen that movie, I really recommend it. Topher Grace actually co-wrote the film because we still talk about movies here, and he starred in it as well. It sat on the shelf for a while, but if you get a chance, it's really, really great. And that song is excellent. That whole soundtrack is actually really excellent on top of it. Stevie Wonder is a fucking genius. Like, we're not going to mince words. It just is what it is. And "Uptight" is one of his best songs. I love this song very much. And "Under Pressure," you're giving me Freddie Mercury and David Bowie. It's fucking perfect. Vanilla Ice, please leave the room. We don't want to hear your version of it ever again. This is our song. This is the correct version of the song. We all love this song. It's such a perfect choice. I couldn't think of a better way to round out any list than these three songs. So congratulations, Jen.
Throwing it over to Maxwell.
Incredible choices. So "Uptight" is one of my favorite Stevie Wonder songs. I can neither confirm nor deny whether Stevie Wonder will come up again soon. He will. "Under Pressure" is almost cheating because to be able to have Queen and David Bowie in one song is like, okay. But it's an incredible song. Like Chris said, it's just one of the great rock duets. The two of them together was like a match made in heaven. And then "Come On Eileen." So when I put together my initial list that had 30 some odd songs in it, "Come On Eileen" was on the list. It didn't make the top 10. I was so fucking happy to see it on Jen's list. It's an incredible song. It makes me so happy. And it's interesting, everyone is talking about Tommy Boy because the movie it makes me think of is The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
I was going to say that too, but I thought I'd be...
I love that movie, and there's that incredibly joyous scene when they're at the school dance, just throwing inhibition to the wind and dancing to it. And that's what the song makes me want to do. It's maybe the greatest one-hit wonder song ever, because I don't think Texas Midnight Runners ever made anything else of note, but damn, this song is amazing.
Yeah. Tim.
Yeah, these are all amazing picks. Worthy of a top three for sure. "Come On Eileen's great 80s song. It's kind of folky and interesting, and there's also a really good I like the ska cover by Save Ferris is pretty good as well. Stevie Wonder is one of the best artists of all time. He's definitely in the top 10, I would say. He's incredible, and this song is one of my favorite songs by him. And then "Under Pressure" is amazing. I think it's probably my favorite Queen Bowie song, I guess I would say is one category, I guess. Queen song? I don't know how to say it, but I really love it.
Queen is there. Yeah.
I really love this song. So
PLD would know that. Max.
Yeah. I mean, "Come On Eileen" is, I was going to mention Perks of Being a Wallflower too. That's my second favorite movie of all time, right after Dead Poets Society. And it's just such an amazing song. I was also going to mention the video on YouTube. One of my favorite videos of all time.
So good.
It's so funny. "Uptight." I got it. I was not that well versed with Stevie Wonder, but then after hearing this, I was like, okay, yeah, this has to be my mission tonight. And I was up until 3 a.m. watching videos of him performing, and he's just so remarkable. "Under Pressure" is one of my favorite songs of all time. It was just about to be on the list, and I was like, it just barely. It was like my number 11. Me and Brennick from Sing Street actually just did a cover of this on my Instagram where I sang the Freddie Mercury line and he did the Bowie part, and it was really cool. So yeah, Under Pressure is great. I had my girlfriend's little sister. I was playing Under Pressure, and she was like, "Oh, I love that Ice Ice Baby," and I was like, "No, don't." And she had never heard Under Pressure before, and I was like, "So get rid of the smarmy fucking Vanilla Ice in your mind and just listen to this." And I could see her eyes as the whole song was progressing, just go. And then, I mean, when Freddie does the why, and just goes into the stratosphere, like, I think that was the moment her brain exploded, and I was like, Lane, I'm sorry, but I think I just broke your sister. But it's an amazing song.
All right, guys, these are my final three, and actually, this is going to go quick because 2 out of the 3 of these songs we've covered here on this show before. This actually one this show, and the other on Survivor Island, and we've spent 3 hours on this. So,
Chris, you could say 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Oh, I should have said that. I should have fucking said that. Oh, I feel bad now. But anyway, my number 3 is from my favorite musical of all time, and it's the namesake of the show itself, is Suddenly Seymour. Particularly, actually, the movie version. I really love Rick Moranis and Ellen Green's performance and duet in the movie. Yes, the Broadway version from 2002 is phenomenal. Any version is phenomenal, but my personal favorite is Rick Moranis and Ellen Green. I feel like they really just had the chemistry, and the build up to their harmonization at the end is phenomenal. My number 2 is my favorite holiday song of all time, and it's 2,000 Years by Billy Joel. It's my favorite Billy Joel song. It's a song about optimism. We've talked about this at length. It's just a very, very positive, uplifting song in a time of, and it's Billy wrote it because if you missed that episode, Billy wrote it for the new millennium, the hope that in the new millennium things would get better, and sadly they really didn't, but it's still a great song about optimism and hope. But my favorite song of all time is probably the longest song on the playlist. Yeah, it's a 10.5-minute song about the 3 tragedies of life. Woo! It's Objects in the Rearview Mirror May Appear Closer Than They Are by Meatloaf. The first half of the song is about the death of a best friend in a car accident. The middle portion of the song is about the abuse of a parent, in this case, the abuse of a father. And the last portion of the song is the loss of a significant other, a breakup, an emotional divorce, or whatever you would like to call it. So you have the loss of love, loss of empathy, and then the loss of a friend. And the loss of innocence with it's just a very powerful story song about Meat's life. It's a very autobiographical. His best friend died when he was a kid. His dad was abusive, and he lost a lot of loves in his life. So that's my number 1. This will go quick. I'm going to throw it over to Jen. What are your thoughts on these 3 songs?
Yeah, I absolutely love Suddenly Seymour. Little Shop is just a fantastic musical, and I'm not surprised it's here. It's literally the intro to the show today. But yeah, it's one of my favorite musical duets of all time, and I agree. I really like the combination of Ellen Green and Rick Moranis, because like Rick Moranis is not a classically trained singer and everything, but it fits the character. And Ellen Green, you can like feel like the whole weight of the desperation of Audrey's situation in her voice, and I think it's just beautiful. This is one of those classic Howard Ashman, Alan Menken combos, and it's just a fantastic song. I absolutely love it. So, yeah, 2,000 Years. Yeah, we talked about this on the Christmas show. This is a beautiful song of hope. Which, if we're going with my happy thing, optimism for 2021. Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, so it's a beautiful song, and it's classic Billy Joel. This is really, if you want to get a good feel for his sound, this is a good way to start. And yeah, Objects in the Rearview Mirror, I would say this is my favorite of the Meatloaf songs we've talked about today. I do love the line of, if life is just a highway and the soul is just a car. I think that's a great line. But yeah, it's just reflecting on the past and everything. And the music video itself is like really cool and everything. So yeah, it's a good pick.
Yep. PJ, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, look, Suddenly Seymour is an incredible song. It's a song I love very much. It's my favorite musical of all time. We've talked about it here at great length, so no shock there. 2,000 Years, similarly, we talked about in the Christmas special. And, I mean, we had it open, one of our own things here. And Steve the Piano Man did an incredible version of this song. This song is fantastic. I love it very, very much. And of course, Objects in the Rear View. This is actually also one of my favorite Meatloaf songs. So I was glad it made the list. It's very long,
Yeah.
but of all of the songs that are on this list, outside of Bad Out of Hell, this one is always one that I've gone back to a lot. It's very emotional, and yeah, the whole thing about the highway is just so poetic and beautiful and sad and melancholy. And just wonderful. So, what a Chris Clark list, to say the least.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's the whole point, right?
Exactly.
That's the whole fucking point. Maxwell, go for it, bud. It'll go quick. I don't know if you can hear. You're muted, man.
Is that better? Sorry. My dog was barking, so I turned it off. Suddenly Seymour is one of my favorite songs of all time. Like I said before, I intentionally decided not to include any musical theater because this all probably would have been musical theater because that is my favorite genre of music. It's an incredible duet. That Ellen Greene is just iconic. Many people have played Audrey after her. They've all mistakenly tried to do an Ellen Greene impersonation, and it just doesn't work. 2,000 Years is gorgeous. It makes me cry every time I listen to it. It especially made me cry when it was set to a montage of the PJCN's year in 2020. You are an emotional terrorist, Chris Clark. As for Objects in the Rearview Mirror, I guess of all the Meatloaf songs, this was the one I liked the most.
I tolerate it.
And that's really all I have to say about it.
At least it warrants the 10.5-minute thing. Tim.
Yeah, I echo what everyone else said. Suddenly Seymour is incredible. It's my favorite song off of Little Shop. And I love the movie version as well. 2,000 Years is really, really good. However, I am very partial to that Piano Man Steve version, man. He did a good job, so I really liked it. And then Objects in the Rearview Mirror is also a Beatles song I really enjoy, so I was glad to see it here. And even though it's super long, it is a song I really enjoy, and I do like it a lot. So, yeah.
Max, go for it, bud.
Yeah, Suddenly Seymour, I love. Little Shop is one of my favorite musicals of all time, and I think, Ellen Greene and Rick Moranis are incredible. 2,000 Years I actually hadn't heard before this, and I love it. I'm a big Billy Joel fan, so of course I loved it. Objects,
it's Objects.
Bad Out of Hell is probably, I put it on my list because it's probably like my most like pump up song that I like listen to. But Objects is my favorite Meatloaf song. The storytelling in it is just incredible. I actually find myself rewinding it over and over and over again. I did like an hour-long car ride once, and I literally just had it on repeat, and I just listened to it the whole way there.
Since you can only listen to it 6 times.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things about it is like I've become sort of like a music time snob in a way where like people will be like, "Oh yeah, I like this song." I'm like, "Oh, how long is it?" And they're like 4 minutes. I'm like,
yeah.
So, but no, Meatloaf is my favorite artist, like standalone singer artist, and Objects is my favorite song by him. It's the most beautiful. I think it's one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard in my life, and I cannot wait to keep playing it until the day that I die. So yeah.
It's one of the. It's a great song. Max, I timed this so that we could end on you. What are your final 3? And let's make this fucking dramatic.
I think that means that you have the best list, Max.
All right, so let's do some dragging, some really dramatic dragging. So, like, there's a Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross score playing right now. Dun, 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 dun. At number 3, we have what I think is perhaps the greatest love song ever written.
Yes.
Composed by Elton John and Bernie Taupin. It is Your Song. This song makes my heart melt. It makes me cry. Let's also not forget when I really fell in love with the song was when Ewan McGregor sang it in Moulin Rouge, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. I would almost argue that version is better than Elton John's version, but Elton and Bernie wrote it. I think it's Elton's best song. I think it's maybe the greatest love song ever written. The piano work, it's just incredible. It's my go-to karaoke song. I sang it on a cruise ship a couple years ago, and I intentionally sort of transposed it to a lower key so then I could rise to the next octave, do a big key change in the second verse, and the room went wild. So that was fun. It's just an incredibly gorgeous song. It just makes me think of all the wonderful and lovely things in my life and in the world. At number 2, and this is where the similarities between Jen Kemp and I continue to be strong. We have another song by the iconic genius Stevie Wonder, Don't You Worry About a Thing. And now what I find interesting about this song is I really think this is a spiritual cousin to Three Little Birds.
Yeah.
It starts out with a Latin flair before evolving into more of the traditional R&B that Stevie does. This is truly just a song about letting go and enjoying life and having fun. It's so fucking joyous and uplifting. It makes me want to dance. It makes me want to groove. It's so incredibly well written. The piano part's amazing. Stevie Wonder is simply one of the greatest of all time. And it's great. Finally, in the number 1 spot, this was a hard choice, but not at all, because this has been my favorite song for as long as I can remember. There are some songs you hear and you are just immediately infected with joy and a joie de vivre and an intense passion for everything in life. This is a Motown song. This is a song sung by children. This is I Want You Back by the Jackson 5.
Yes.
As soon as the piano and the chords start, I think this has maybe the greatest chord progression in the history of pop music. It is like the term bop was invented for this song. This is the boppiest bop that ever bopped. And yes, it does make me think of Baby Groot dancing now, for better or worse. But this song is incredible. It brings a smile to my face like few other things do.
Those are phenomenal choices, Max. Let me just go through them. I Want You Back, yes. I was surprised this was your number 1. But it's phenomenal and it's really, really fun. And it does have one of the best chord progressions. It just makes you happy. It really makes you happy. Don't You Worry About a Thing. The whole Spanish Latin kind of vibe, and then it gets into that groove. Stevie Wonder is fun, and I also find it very interesting that you and Jen have Stevie at number 2. So that's even more similarities.
Mind link.
Yeah. And I just want to say something about your song. It's interesting you say it's a love song, because it is, but it's not a romantic love song. This is a platonic love song that Elton wrote to Bernie for the friendship that they have. This was a song Bernie wrote these lyrics and Elton wrote had the music. This is a connection between two men who love each other platonically and really, really just have emotions and are tied. And it's just a very, very, very well written and beautiful, beautiful song. And your song almost made my list, but it didn't, because I knew it was going to be on Max's and I wanted to showcase some lesser known Elton songs. And this is Elton's best, and it's one of the greatest songs ever written. And thank you so much for putting this on the list, Max. It's phenomenal. Tim.
Your song is my favorite Elton song. Mm-hmm. And like Maxwell said, I tend to love it even more because of Moulin Rouge, and I love the Moulin Rouge version so much. Stevie Wonder, Stevie Wonder, he has to be on here, and the fact that he's on here twice is very appropriate, and this song is incredible. Now, I Want You Back, Jackson 5. This shit's my jam. I love this song so much, and I'm not going to tell the long story because I've told probably everyone on here about it, but getting this song on Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout in Disneyland California Adventure was one of the greatest achievements of my annual pass career as a Disney.
I thought you were going to say of your adult life.
of my adult life, because it is not an easy. In my experience of having an annual pass for a full year and going all the time, it is not an easy song to get on that ride.
It is.
And when I got it, and we were in the front row, it was magic, and the people that were in the car with us didn't appreciate how special it actually was.
I didn't know that was a thing. That's what I got the first time I heard it.
And my friend Dan and I were losing our minds, and no one else could really understand why, but we told them, we were like, you don't know. We've been trying to get this song on here forever. And then we got it like 5 more times that day, so whatever.
It's the best.
But yeah, this song it's an incredible song. It's my favorite Michael Jackson song. I love it. I love it so much.
Great. PJ.
Look, speaking of emotional terrorists, Maxwell, your song is a song that I love very much that also had, like, obviously maybe one of the most, I don't know, openly emotional moments I've ever had at live theater ever in my life, when we saw Moulin Rouge on Broadway. And I've always loved this song. Elton John is a fucking genius. But this song in particular, I've always loved. I will always love. God damn it. Don't You Worry About a Thing. The irony of this and Three Little Birds both sitting at number 2 in our spots, just like across from each other.
They're really similar.
They're very
Like
similar.
your friends or something.
Yeah, that's true too. But they are so similar. They definitely feel like they belong together. Like, if you listen to them back to back, there's just like a very real kinship between what Bob Marley and the Wailers were doing then and Stevie Wonder was doing then. Like, they're just so good. I was so happy that this was on the list. It's such a fantastic choice. And look, I Want You Back is a fucking bop. Like, this is Michael Jackson at his best. It's the Jackson 5 at their best. This song rocks. It's the best version of Guardians that you can definitely get. I agree with Tim. Yeah, this is such a good choice. Maxwell, your list is simply fantastic.
It's great.
Thank you.
Jen.
Yeah, Maxwell's a genius. Your song is one of the best love songs of all time. It's a beautiful ballad. Just the expression of how wonderful life is now you're in the world. I do think it's really interesting lyrically, just because like it does have this like contradictory, like tongue-tied quality to the lyrics. Just because like if I was a sculptor, then again, no, sorry, shit, like kind of thing. Like it's just kind of fumbling to find the right words to express the connection, and I've always found that fascinating. So yeah, it's just another one of those magical combinations. Elton John's great. Yeah, Stevie Wonder, I made it clear on my list that I think the man is a genius as well. Todo está bien chévere. This song is so much fun. I think it's really the only song that really has like the Latin influence for Stevie, which is unfortunate because this song is a banger. So I don't know, but yeah, I just love the way that it starts so like soft and flirtatious, and then like builds up until this pure joy dance at the end. So it's just fantastic, and I so respect the choice here. And yeah, I Want You Back. It's pure joy. It is great. They have you just from the intro instrumentals that you just know that you want to get up and dance and have fun and play, and it's just great. And I'll have a shout out to, I think it's Jermaine is the one that has like the gravelly vocals at the end, kind of like the backup. I've always loved that part when he comes in after the bridge. So pretty sure it's Jermaine. I'm not sure. Like Michael's great, obviously, but I think having that balance of Michael's itty bitty baby voice to a little bit deeper has always been the thing that really brings it on home. So yeah, these are 3 fantastic picks, and yeah, you made the right call, Chris, having Maxwell go last.
No, you're good. Up Max. Booking it with Max. Go for it.
Yeah.
Man.
So your song, I know this is gonna get very adorably cringy, but I made a promise to myself that when I get into a relationship, I want to learn that song and play it for them. So within the first week of me and my girlfriend starting dating, I learned it on the piano, and I was like, hey, I want to show you something. And I played it, and I just looked over, and she just had tears in her eyes. And I was like, yes, the power of Elton. Don't You Worry About a Thing, I really like. This was the second song I listened to by Stevie Wonder, and I thought it was great. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say something about your song, about the Moulin Rouge correlation. I love that movie. It is my 4th favorite movie. So just to clarify, my list of favorite movies: Dead Poet Society, and then I love Percy Being a Wallflower, then Rocky Horror, then Moulin Rouge. But Sorry, that was a really weird tangent. I
No,
want you
not on
back.
this channel. It's not.
Let's see.
Yeah, Don't You Worry About a Thing. I love. This was the second song I listened to by Stevie Wonder after Uptight. And then I Want You Back. I think it's hilarious that somebody can produce their magnum opus at the age of like 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this song is just, you could play this song anywhere and somebody would just be like. So it's one of the songs that's universally adored, and I think it's in a very well-deserved spot. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to feature this really quickly, guys. This is our playlist, our final playlist of our favorite songs of all time, Volume 1. This is going to be, we're going to do Volume 2 in probably either August or September, 6 months from now, whenever that is. And we're going to do
6
Volume...
months from now is June.
Yeah, that's when we will do it. June. Yeah, June. We're gonna do it again with more.
From now
servings of meal and everything. So
That was amazing.
Yeah, so guys, that's our playlist. I'm gonna unfeature it now and remove it and stop sharing my screen. All right, and then I'm gonna change my background so it looks better. There we go. So
Get
guys,
that purple in there.
more purple. Before I throw it to everybody, we do have a couple of things coming up. We have a watch along for Moneyball. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's Monday, correct?
That was
No, we
on
did that
Monday.
already.
We already did that,
You
Chris.
did that already. Oh my.
Hey, Max, do you wanna show what we got going on real quick?
Yeah,
That was
go
in
for it,
June.
Max. You're better.
Okay, so I'll make this quick because we've been going for 3.5 hours. Tomorrow night, Front Center Mezzanine is back. The first episode of 2021. PJ and I will be sitting down and talking with Jennifer Ashley Tepper. She is a Broadway producer. She's been the programming director at 54 Below for years. She's brilliant. She is arguably the most well-respected theater historian of our time, and she's the author of The Untold Stories of Broadway Volumes 1, 2, and 3. She's also a good friend of mine. I am really excited. We're both from Boca Raton. We're both Jews. We have a lot in common. Really excited to talk to her tomorrow. It's going to be a great conversation. Then Friday night starts PJ's birthday bash with a watch-along of The Shining, which leads into a watch-along of Dr. Sleep on Monday night, the director's cut. Both of those are available on HBO Max. Saturday afternoon starts the new edition of the PJCN Water Cooler Chat, where every Saturday at 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern, we will be going over the new episodes of WandaVision. That show premieres on Friday with 2 episodes. So me, PJ, Sully, Dwayne Burke, and probably Jake Berlin, and maybe some special guests will be breaking that all down. And then, of course, on Sundays, we do the Unwind, the show about whatever. You don't want to miss that because it's always chaos and nonsense.
Yeah, Burr is 110, bada bing, bada boom. I'm gonna go back to the branding really quickly for the watch alongs. Just important that on Saturday night we are going to be doing the PJCN Twitch and 8-player Mario Party. All proceeds from the Streamlabs will be going towards William Bibiani and his partner Michelle to help with Sergio's vet expenses because sadly they lost Sergio, their cat. And had to put him to sleep earlier this week. So much love to Bibbs and Michelle for that. We love them dearly. So I'm going to throw it over to PJ. PJ, where can the good people find you online, bud?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram, PJ_Campbell. You can find me here hanging out with most of these lovely people.
Mm-hmm.
Max comes around from time to time, but the rest of them I'm with pretty frequently, unless Chris sleeps through the watch-alongs. And you can find me at the Movie Trivia Schmodown, where I write the questions. Be nice to the writers. We're only human.
And before we go, I just want to say, I see you, Cam. We're here for you. If you need anything, let us know. And we are all supporting you and sending our love and light through whatever you might be going through right now.
Yeah, much love to you. Jen, where can the good people find you?
You can find me, Jen Kemp, on Twitter and Letterboxd at JKMemeQueen. And pretty much anytime Chris needs someone to fill in for Mario Party or whatever, I'm usually the one he calls first.
It's fun. Maxwell, where can good people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at Cinemaxwell, Instagram at Cinemaxwell Inc., and of course, pretty much every night on the Pajukin.
Tim, go for it, bud. You know the drill.
You can find me at tfranco84 on Twitter. Those numbers mean my birthday. Yes, I'm going to be 37 years old. And you can find me at my house here in Tucson, Arizona. And if you had a cool job like me, you could find out my exact address, but you don't. And that's my dog Gwen, and she has a code, and you can find her. You can find her with that code around her head right now. And yeah, it's late.
Yeah, it's late.
Wait.
Max, where can people find you? And
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. So my Instagram is just Max_Bartos. And my Twitter is just Max Bartos, and my Facebook is just my name. So yeah,
Smart.
it's pretty easy. Pretty easy. But yeah.
yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at ChrisClark8788. Those numbers mean nothing. From Max, from Maxwell, from Tim, from Jen, and from PJ, and from myself, we say to you, keep rocking, bada bing, bada boom, and let's rock this sucker.
Bye, guys.
Woo!